Hey, shalom, 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 yasha Allah.
Shalom.
Hey, a short Shabbat to the family that's in the chat. A short Shabbat, man. We had some technical difficulties this morning, yasha Allah. We had some technical difficulties. So right now I got a simulcast. I'm on my laptop, and then I had to get on my rib laptop because my rib laptop, who I usually do, didn't allow me to do what I needed to do. No connection issues, so we had to figure it out. Hey man, and the most high way we could just simulcast it to I'm on two screens. We make it work, man, to where I'm able to still share the screen, right, and also add people and do the things that I need to do.
Um, your audio sounds a little bit. So like the other one, are you talking? Your audio is not good right now.
Praises, and hey, did I go out?
Khan, I can hear. I heard you say that. Can you hear me?
We having some on my phone. Hey, can you hear me, y'all?
Khan, out of what I heard that.
Okay, kind of sound breaking up. They sound breaking up. I mean, I might gotta do it from my phone now. My Wi-Fi is tripping at the
No,
moment.
you're good now. Right now, don't move
I'm
because it's
good.
working.
Okay, kind. All praises, all praises. So what I was saying, Israel, Yasha Allah is there. Y'all are now tuned in to another pre-game, right? Another pre-game episode. This is episode 2 of the pre-game, right? Israelite Motivation 103, man. Israelite Motivation 103. What inspired me to call it that? Well, let me show you. What inspired me to call it that. Number one is I believe sincerely that Israel needs a little bit more motivation. A lot of brothers have been texting me. I've been talking to a few sisters, and they lacking the motivation. They kind of getting what's the word? Complacent. They kind of getting complacent in the spirit of this truth, man. It's been 3 years for some. It's been 5 for others. It's been 15, 20 for some other brothers and sisters, right? And some of the people that I've talked to have become very complacent, man. They getting weary, man. I've seen even some messages where brothers are saying, "Hey, I'm not an Israelite no more, man. I don't believe that doctrine no more. Been in the truth a couple years, I don't believe it no more." Right? So I had to bring back an Israelite Motivation 103, and I want to get you what inspired me to call it that, right? So bear with me real quick. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it
Okay.
up. You got some up?
Khan, I'll wait until you bring out the first one, or if you want right now, I can.
Now bring it out. I'm gonna show the people something.
Khan, really quickly. Okay, so this is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 10 and verse 12. And it reads, "Be of good courage, and let us play the men of our people, and for the cities of our God, and the Lord do that, and the Lord do that which seemeth good." So have courage, man. Have courage to keep on going and play the men of our people. Because at what point can you stop being a man in the world?
That's right.
At what point can you stop being a father? At what point can you just take your hand off the plow when your people is in danger? Think about it like we in a burning house, and you're the only one up, and your family in there. Are you gonna stop halfway,
Yeah.
or are you gonna know it's on you? You the one got to get everybody out, or for you that's kind of halfway in and halfway out, letting the other brothers do the work. If you live in a house and the house on fire, you're gonna say, "Well, I'll let you carry everyone out. I'll make my way out." Or are you gonna get up and are you gonna help? You gotta have courage and play the man of your people, right? And do that which is good. Don't take your hand off the plow. Most High didn't, man, yeah. Most High didn't make you like that.
Hey, that's real. Like,
He
hey,
could have made
that's
you
real.
an Edomite.
Hey, that's a fact. Hey, but hey, like Kaya said, right? They quit too early. They quit too early, and that's the complacency of the spirit, man. You stop believing in the hope and in the faith of the Lord, man. And that's what happens when brothers start to lose motivation, when sisters start to lose motivation and start going back into the world, dabbling with different theologies, wickedness and witchcraft, man. That's what happens. You lose the faith of the Most High in Yahweh Shai. You even start to think that He ain't even coming back. You start thinking the Most High ain't real no more, right? That's what happens when you lose that. That's what happens when you start to lose that motivation in this walk, man. It's very important that you stay grounded and 10 toes down for this thing, man. And we got a special guest coming soon, right? A brother that I've done the work with a few times, but he gonna come. He gonna speak to the people, man. We're gonna do it in unity and brotherhood, man. Right? Because that's also what it's about, and that's also how you keep the motivation. Because Sirach said, "What? Stay continually around a God-fearing man, one who you know to keep the commandments. And when you miscarry, he'll be there for you, or she'll be there for you, right?" So let me get the inspiration of this, right? Let me get the inspiration real quick. Let me know when you can see my screen. All right. Baba Kasha. Let me get it.
Huh?
All right. You can see that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna zoom in. Real quick. Bear with me. It's difficult. It's difficult how I'm doing it, but I'm gonna work through it. Let me see. I gotta go in the archives and find this video. Matter of fact, it might be in my history. Let me see. There we go. That's what I want. Israelite mode. Here's the inspiration for it right here. If you haven't watched this one, Israelite Motivation 101. What does 101 mean? That's the basic principles. This is a throwback 3 years ago, man. This is a throwback video 3 years ago. This was the Israelite Motivation 101, right? That was 2020. Look at this madness, man. Who are these? Ain't the sons of Thunder, man. These the sons of Esau. That's the sons of Esau, man.
I thought that was DJ Khaled over there.
Hey, this is a good video too, right here. Right, it is a good one with Malachi, when the scoffer came to contend with Malachi. Ironhead scoffer and Israelite motivation continues, right? And then we had Israelite motivation 102. Israelite motivation 102. And now you tuned into the pregame Israelite motivation 103, man, right? Because it's overdue. We haven't put out the 103 yet, and Lord willing in the spirit, I don't want can keep going with that, man. Whenever He feels right, because it's times in the seasons where Israel need that motivation, man. It's times and seasons where we got to come back to our first love, man. So if you haven't checked out these videos, make sure you check out these videos, man. Go watch Israelite Motivation 101. Go watch Israelite Motivation 102. And then come watch how Malachi had to deal with the scoffer in his younger days, man. Right? So I just wanted to show that to the people, right? That's the inspiration behind the Israelite Motivation 103 that we about to bring out. But before further ado, let's greet the people in the chat, and we're going to get right to it. So we got Princess Lariaka, Shalom, sis. Judah D, Shalom. Tony, Shalom. Hey, Thawada, I think that's Tony that be hitting me up on WhatsApp. I seen your messages out. Thawada for hitting me up. I appreciate that, right? Hey, Shalom, sis. Ramah, Shalom. Hey, my brother Brian Christian, BC, what's up? I got to stop calling the brother that. Aquaria, Shalom. Hey, Prospect Isaiah, Shalom. Hey, Trey Lindsay, what's up? Shalom. Sister Nataza, Shalom. Lee Whitehead. Hey, my brother Kaya, Shalom. Kiera, Shalom. Hey, Soldier West Windsor, Shalom. Said, what's going on, King? I am Zeus, Shalom. Kahari, what's up, my mighty Levite? Mighty Levite in the spirit. Hey, you was teaching good last night on Free Course Friday, y'all. Shalom. Yediah, Tony, Clayton, hey, Captain Yarrow All. Captain Yarrow All, and I think he in Cali. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think my brothers in Central Cali, if you're trying to do the work out there in California, in that area, man, make sure you hit up Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com, man. Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com if you want to do the work in California, right? So you can get in contact with Captain Yarrow. Aisha, Shalom. Soldier Sanctuary, Shalom. I might have missed the sister Luvina. Luvina, Shalom, sis. Hebrew Daughter, Shalom. D. Miller, Shalom. Justin, what's up, Ot? Yahweh over everything. That's right. That's right. Shalom. Yahweh over everything. Hey, my sister Joanne Gilchrist, what's up, sis? Right? Let me see who else. If anybody else in here. My brother Josiah, Alabama, Shalom. Captain Malachi, Shalom, Ot. And Shaquayana. I think that's how you say your name, Shiz. Say it again. Shaquana, Shalakia, Shaquana, Shalom, sis. All praises to everybody that's in the chat. Do me a favor, if you're in the chat, make sure you obviously liking the video, and make sure you subscribing, and make sure you sharing the video. You gotta do that. you gotta first like it. Everybody probably already subscribed, but if you're not subscribed already, you gotta subscribe, and then you gotta make sure you're sharing the video. Share it on all your social media platforms. Put it on your story. Get the flock of Israel into these lessons, man. Right? Because they need this. They need to see brothers that's astute in these scriptures. That brothers that's stewards and that's taking the time and dedication to master these scriptures without going to your theology school. Right? Not going to the seminars. Right? Coming out of the Christian church. Right? Brothers that learned the scriptures and not only learned them, but apply them and live by them day to day. The people need to see this, man. The people need to see this, man. I heard a brother on Clubhouse. He said, "I applaud the brothers, right?" He said, and he in the Israel. I think he in Egyptology. I think he be debating with some of the brothers. He said, "I applaud the brothers and the sisters that keep the commandments of the Bible in today's era. That's a hard thing to do." But he's incorrect. And give me that real quick. 1 John. Give me that real quick in 1 John. Chapter 5, verse 3.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse 3.
Bring it out.
For this is the love of God.
Come on.
That we keep his commandments.
That we do what?
That we keep his commandments.
Right, that we keep his commandments. Come on.
And his commandments are not grievous.
And his commandments are not grievous, man. So the brother was actually incorrect because the scripture said the commandments are not grievous, right? The commandments are not grievous, right? And that's what we got to know in these last days. So the brother that said, "Hey, I applaud you, brothers, because the commandments are hard," that's incorrect. The commandments are actually fairly simple. How easy is it to not sleep with your brother? How easy is it, right? How easy is it not to lie and steal, right? How easy is it to not to hold that grudge against your brother? How easy is it not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, right? And all the other abominations of the sea. That's a fairly easy job, man. Right? Go ahead, King.
I want to bring one out real quick to lay me back on that. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Chapter 39, verse 24.
Bring it out.
As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked.
And that's what it is. Break it down. Break that down,
So you see, like I don't know what's going into. Look, a lot of times when you hear these law, statutes, commandments, boom, you could just do them like that. It's really not that difficult if you think about it. It's more of a thing of convenience or people not want to sacrifice their lifestyle. But if you want to just take that away, it's actually easy to do. But adversely, those who are wicked, everything it's almost impossible trying to get them to do any little thing. It's like a stumbling block to them because they're wicked. you
Yeah,
know. But I mean, that's self-explanatory.
you're right. And Malachi hit it on the head. It was Brother Garfield, man. Brother Garfield said that,
God.
right? He said that on the clubhouse one day, right? Hey, so let's get into it. Let's get into our first precept. Let's go to that first love, man. Let's get that in Revelation 2. Revelation chapter 2, right? Because this be the main reason. This be the main reason of that lack of motivation, right? You start to step away from this. You start to step away from that which is easy, right? As we just read. The plain way, you start to swerve away from the plain way and start going back to the wicked way, right? Read that for me, out.
Which one is it?
Verse 4. Let me see. Verse 4 is the one.
Yep. Verse
Start at
4.
verse
Yep.
3 up.
Yep.
Verse 3.
Con, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted.
Has what?
And has not fainted.
And you labored and not fainted, right? That's the motivation people need. Yo, stop fainting. Stop getting weary in this thing because your shy ain't come yesterday.
Right.
This is for the long. It's elders that's been this truth for 30 years, man. Right? I know elders that's been this truth for 30 years, man. The scriptures say, and they have labored and fainted not. You got to have that same spirit. You can't get complacent in these last days, man. Right? You can't stop picking this thing up. You can't stop watching camp videos. You can't stop watching brothers sit down lesson. You can't stop gathering. Right? You got to continue to do the things that was commanded of you. And once you stop, or once something happens in your life to where you got to slow down a little bit, that's where you kind of get weary, man. That's where you kind of lose that motivation. Now the truth ain't as interesting no more, right? Because that's usually what happens. The truth starts being interesting to a lot of brothers and sisters. The brother they teaching again. That's the same. Esau's the white man. Right? Another John 3:16 breakdown.
Deuteronomy 28 again.
I ain't gonna watch that camp video. All they teaching is yes, you gotta master that. I've never seen a brother break down Deuteronomy 28 the same way. Each brother gonna say something different, man. Right? Some things you're gonna take, and some things you're gonna that's a good way to put it. But you can't get weary in this thing, man, because that's how Satan is trying to vet you out. Right? Read that scripture one more time, King.
And has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted.
Come on.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee.
He said, but nevertheless, this red letter too, I have somewhat against thee. Read.
Because thou hast left thy first love.
And that's what happens. That's the first sign of you losing that motivation and you about to take a detour from the truth, possibly. Is when you start to lose that first love, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments, and then the love and the faith of Yahweh Shai. That's the first. You about to detour. Once that starts happening, where you stop caring about breaking the commandments. You just brush it off. You stop praying, right? You don't want to fast no more. Truth videos are getting annoying. It's the same thing over and over. You don't want to go to camp no more, right? Sisters don't want to be around no sisters no more. They want to be by themselves now, right? They losing the faith, right? They don't want to come to feast days. They ain't getting excited by getting the dress and all that, doing this, that, the third, right? That's you starting to lose your first love, and Yahweh Shai said he got a ought against you when you start to move like that. Man. He got a ought against you, man. Right? You got something up?
I do.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus again, chapter 11 and verse 20. And it reads, "Be steadfast in thy covenant and conversant therein, and wax old in thy work." So you see right there, instead, listen, the covenant that you made with the Most High, that love, because you know He's married unto us, that be steadfast in that. Do not faint on that. Work on that. And listen, and it says, be conversant therein, be able to speak it a bunch of different ways, be able to break Deuteronomy 28 down or to milk down a bunch of different ways. Know how to fish for the fish that you're going for. You know, be seasoned with salt. You know, like Paul said, listen, I know how to appeal to all men. You know what I mean? Paraphrasing. Know how to do that. And then it says, listen, wax old in your work. Get some years in, get some time in, earn your stripes. Don't faint because you're tired of doing the work, or I'm tired of breaking this down. It says, no. This is blood in, blood out, homie.
That's right. But the blood that's in us is Yahweh's blood, huh? Once you start to move from your first love, you start to trample on that. You start to walk over that blood like it was of none effect, as the scriptures say. And what I like about that scripture too, you brother, go back to Revelation for me real quick. What I like about that scripture said, be steadfast, bro. That said, be steadfast. And that's the purpose of the whole pregame spirit, is being steadfast, wanting to go out and do the work. Remember, the pregame is to get you ready to do this work, but you can't do the work if you ain't motivated. That's why you don't want to do the work.
Right. Because
you ain't motivated, man. Right? It's a little cold in certain areas. What's the weather today in Atlanta? Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up for the people. Let's give them a reason, right? Because all Israel need always is a reason.
48.
See, it's a little chilly today.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly today in Atlanta, so brothers don't want to go out and do the work. Let's pull it up. Let me pull it up for the people. Hey, post in the chat, what's the weather in your city right now? In 48. I said 48. I'm about to pull it up out too. I got it right here, right? Mine say 47. That ain't too bad, man.
No, wait, that's Atlanta. I was about to say.
Yeah, right? So in Atlanta, right, 5 points is going to be 47 degrees. That's a light jacket. 50 Malachi, 50 degrees, man. That's a light jacket. That's light work. Right? It's a little chilly, but it ain't too bad. It ain't terrible. Joanne Gilchrist said what?
40? Look, even in LA, it's 52.
Hey, it's 52. A brother in Mississippi said it's 51 with rain. See, that rain to stop a lot of brothers. Right? Yeah. Hey, Sister Natas, I said 49, right? Was raining earlier. Right, let's see Florida. Let's see where I'm at.
Florida gonna be like 80.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nice day.
See, I caught it.
A nice day.
I caught it.
Hey, you caught it on the head.
God.
Hey, Malachi said light jacket. Yeah, 47 out. That's a light jacket. 50 degrees out. That's a light jacket, man. That's a light jacket. You know, your SOT jacket with a little something over it. Nothing too heavy. Right? Florida, 80. I don't need no jacket, man. It's 80 degrees. I don't have no reason not to go do the work. A Hebrew daughter said it's 38 in Cali. Where she at?
Oh, she must be in the Bay. Like she probably like Sac or like Galt or something up there.
Yeah, she might be in like the Bay Area, Northern Cali. Right? New York is 40. Right? I'm surprised ain't nobody put it snowing nowhere, right? But that's all Israel need, man, is an excuse not to do this work. Right? It's cold. Some sisters said it was raining. Right? Matter of fact, Florida is too hot. You're gonna find that when you start to turn from that first love, that's what happens. The first thing you're gonna do is make an excuse, man. And it says, what wicked man findeth an excuse.
Man, I was just looking for that.
Hey, Malachi said, I'm gonna have 2 jackets on and earmuffs. It ain't that cold for the earmuffs. It is not that cold for the earmuffs. No, I can't even let my ears be freezing. My ears do be freezing. Now, let's go back to Revelations real quick. Revelation. Read verse 5 one more time, and then read verse 4, and then read down to 5.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee,
Mm-hmm.
because thou hast left thy first love.
Yep.
Remember, therefore, from whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works.
Do what?
And do the first works.
So you gotta do the first works, man. Soon as you start, hey, I text Malachi the other day. Me and Malachi came up in SOT together. We've had these conversations, right? Where we text, yo, I'm feeling a little out of the spirit, or I text him, yo, I'm feeling a little out of the spirit. It happens. It happens to your favorite teachers. I guarantee you. But guess what? They always go back to their first love, man. Right? Which is number one, keeping the commandments. And I would say number two for me is you got to be reading. You got to come back to that. That time when you couldn't stop reading, when you couldn't stop doing the precepts. What brothers now, excuse me, what brothers now is coming to camp with a pencil or a pen in their hand trying to write the precept down, man? Brothers ain't coming to camp with that no more. That's because you stopped. You have strayed away from that first love, man. I remember at camp, every brother, hey, you got a pen? Hey, you got a pen? Hey, brothers don't even want to let you borrow their pen, man. They trying to write the precept, and they know you ain't gonna give it back. Right? You got the reader on the sideline hearing the precept, he trying to mark it. Right? I remember those days in 5 points, man. Sure. Hot, nasty days. Sure.
I'm doing mine while in the class.
Hey, that's how you gotta be. Right? That's the first love, man. Not you got to refresh it, right? You got to refresh that love all the time, because once you get to that place of complacency or complicity, right? You start to go that lean to the left, lean to the right, and what does it say? Keep going out. Once you start leaning.
Or else I will come into thee quickly, and I will remove thy candlestick out of his place.
And he said, once you start leaning, man, he will remove that candlestick from out of his place. You're gone. You out of there. Right? Now you in the crystals. Now you in the Kemet. Shoot, this brothers, now you following Yaju. Right. This brothers that was in the truth is following Yaju. It's brothers in the truth, right? Was in the truth a year ago, and is now in 2023 following Yaju.
That's stupid.
That's stupid, like the brother said. That is absolutely stupid. Right? Knew the truth. Had the understanding, and now is following this brother, man, who sent his women to the front line and him sitting in the back recording and laughing.
Right. While they smoking Black and Miles and shit.
Smoking Black and Miles, talking about everything in the Bible is just an allegory.
Right.
Right? Hey, boy, hey, my special guest has came into the building, man. My guest has came into the building, man. Let me welcome my brother, man. Let me give my brother a mighty shalom for coming in, right? Blessed be this brother, man, in his camp. You know, them brothers doing an excellent job out here in Florida. I ain't gonna tell y'all yet. They're doing an excellent job out here in Florida, doing the work, pushing this word, man. Started with only a few, and the most high has multiplied these brothers, man, into a mighty organization. So I want to give my brother a mighty shalom, man. Yahweh Shem Shah. You know, my brother Jonathan, man. My brother Jonathan on the scene. Shalom, man.
Shalom, y'all Bashim Yahweh Shah Brakatah, man. It's a pleasure to be on here with you brothers, man.
Hey, shalom, right? To the brothers of WFI Orlando, man. Brothers in the O. Hey, doing the work, man. Right? Hey, how you feeling, Doc?
I'm all right, man. I'm well, man. You know, thankful, man. Faithful. You know what I mean? Ups and downs, man. It's a lot going on, as y'all know, man. You know, in this truth, you know, not just dealing with ourselves, but dealing with the congregation and the brothers. So it's a heavy work, man, a big responsibility, man. So but I'm glad to still be in this thing, man. You know what I mean?
That's right. Hey, and that's what we was just talking about. Coming back to that first love. You know what I'm saying? Because we was in Revelations 2:5 and speaking on how the Most High can blow out that candlestick at any time, at any time, and how once you start to turn to the left or to the right, that's when you start to see that happening. Brothers start to go into strange. Even me and you out there had conversations of brothers going into some different doctrines.
Yeah,
it was. Nah, we
that's
can't.
That's a part of this walk too, man.
That's right.
That's a part of this walk. When you're in the truth, you see brothers come and go. It's normal. We don't even get surprised no more. It's normal. So it's important to ask the Most High, man. To because that can happen to any one of us.
That's right.
We're not guaranteed anything in this. Let me get a precept real quick.
Bring it out.
Get 2 Peter, Salakia. I don't know if y'all brought this out yet, but this is very important. It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, and verse 16. But was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumbass speaking with man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet. These are Salakia. I meant to start at verse 19. While they promised them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same he is brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through knowledge of the Lord and of Mashiach Yahushai, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. That's the scary thing about this truth. That's why we got to stay on our toes in this thing, man.
Right.
Because the Lord, we get on Christians a lot. We get on people in the world that don't keep the commandments. But the Lord said, if you turn and go back, your latter end is going to be worse than it was if you just never came into this thing. You was better off not coming, especially you men that go out and teach the word. Yeah. You know what I mean? You men that go shake the hand. That's the burden that's on us, right? Reading on, it says, for if after they have, verse 21, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mirror. All right. So that's what you're seeing. You see brothers, they was in the truth at one point, and then they go back into the world, man. The Lord said that's the dog returning to his vomit. You don't want to be like that, man. That's what we try to avoid, man. And that's why we have to pray for endurance and faith and mercy, grace of the Most High.
And one thing heavy is to pray for too, Yasha Allah, is that the Most High don't send you that strong delusion, man. The Most High the Most High said, hey, let's get that real quick. What is that? 2 Thessalonians 2:11.
I would choose your delusions.
I would choose your delusion, man. And this goes all into that lack of motivation. When you start getting complacent in that spirit, when you start just going through the motions in the truth, you start having crazy thoughts, man. Start questioning the doctrine that you be pushing. Read what you got out. I think it's 2 Thessalonians 2:11.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 11. And for this cause, God shall send them a strong delusion.
Who gonna send the delusion though?
God shall send them a strong delusion.
See, the Most High, he gonna, as soon as you don't want to keep these commandments no more. It's getting boring to you. I got something for you to do. Go play with these crystals now. Go be a hand with now. Go follow Yah-Jew. Go back. Matter of fact, go back into Christianity. What you've been cutting for years, go back into it.
Right.
Go deal with that Ephah crap.
Yeah. Right. Read the latter part. Read the latter part of that for me. Salah.
Oh, come. That they should believe a lie.
That they what?
that they should believe a lie.
See that they should believe a lie, man. Hey, like the other one said, my Kai, they reprobate that reprobate mind. Keep going on that,
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
and that's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. When you start to lose that motivation for the truth, you start to take pleasure in unrighteousness, and the righteous pleasures don't entice you anymore. It's not attracting to you anymore. Keeping the new moon starts to become unattractive, right? Keeping during the camp starts to come like I gotta go Friday and Saturday. How long y'all be at camp?
God, man, we'll be out there 6 hours sometimes, man.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's Salakia.
4 hours straight minimum.
Yeah, minimum. That's a minimum camp. That's a long time, bro.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be. And then y'all go what? Friday, Saturday?
Friday night, and then Saturday. Yep.
And then Saturday night. So that's
and we got a late count, and Friday is a late count.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't start count till like 8:30. You know what I mean? So them Friday nights can be long, man.
Yeah. Wow. You got some, Maharan?
Khan, it's Salakia. They never got tired of doing Christmas. They never got tired of being at the club or doing all this other wickedness. But in the truth,
right.
I can't do it. 4 hours.
Right. Yeah.
What? Brother. No, man, look, you better get some doctor shows for your boots and stand out there.
That's right.
I got a precept.
God,
Con, this 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Right? So the Lord says, hold fast to what thou hast until I come. Right? What you learn in this truth, hold on to that, man. Don't be changing up the doctrine. But what happened is our people get weary and well-doing. They start to get bored, right? They start to get, tired of being disciplined. You know what I mean? That flesh, they want to please that flesh so bad. And then, next thing you know, you'll find a teacher that teaching you something you want to hear. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you'll start to believe it when you were just teaching against it. That's those itching ears. You know what I mean? Now you go from that to now you don't got to keep the Sabbath day. Now Jesus is the Sabbath. Now you back in Christianity with fringes on. All right?
And that happened that fast, like quick. Like it happened, so it was like, damn, that brother was just, and then he ain't doing it no more. You got Malachi said you got comfortable, man. You got comfortable in Babylon. You started the cares of this world, man. Like you just said, the cares of the flesh, man. Yahushua said what? The flesh is willing, but the spirit
is weak.
The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. So we got to be willing in these last days, because it's easy to fall to the flesh. It's too easy to fall. Bro, you can break every commandment right here on your phone. Every one of them. You can break everything.
Yep.
You can lie.
That's cold right there. God. That's true.
Break the Sabbath, buy some, be working, everything right on your phone. It's in your hand. It's right at your hand to fall to that flesh. But we can't be complacent, especially when something starts to go wrong, guys. I was talking a little bit last night. I wanted you to go into a little bit of how y'all started, like when y'all was the Sons of Zion, right?
Correct. Yeah, Sons of Zion. Yep, Sons of Zion Israelites.
Like go into a little bit of that, because when I look at them old videos, King, it could have been easy for you, brother Anthony, right, and a couple of other brothers.
Andrew.
Go ahead, Andrew. My bad. I should be saying Anthony. Andrew. Yeah. My bad. Hey, Andrew. My bad. Salat, King Salat. Brother Andrew, right? It could have been easy for y'all brothers to just throw in the towel. It's only a couple. It's only 2-3 of us, man. Throw in the towel. Ain't nobody really coming. It could have been easy, but y'all endured, man. Y'all didn't lose that motivation, because it's easy to lose the motivation when nothing is going right. Right? Just break that down a little bit out for the people, man, if you can.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to what y'all was talking about earlier in Revelations 2. when the Lord talks about remembering the first works, because thinking back, when you first come in, that's when you're on fire, man. You come into this thing sincere. You're doing it for the right reasons, right? You love to go do the work. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You don't care about views. You know what I mean? You don't care about who out there.
That's right.
That's what that beginning, those humble beginnings, you know what I mean? That's what you got to remember in this thing, man. You know, it gets harder as you start to grow, right? And as things start to you start to see fruit and you start to see progress. That's when things get harder. It's actually the opposite. I guess it depends on the individual, but
Yeah.
not that it was, you know, all easy, but it just made me think of that, you know, coming in to this live, what you guys were talking about. Starting out, when I first, and a lot of people don't know this, when I first started going out and teaching the Bible, I think we had only been in the truth. Some may say that we went out there too early.
Yeah.
Right?
And a lot of people will say that, man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I've heard brothers say, well, you got to be in the truth at least 4 years. You need to have an elder, you know, such and such. But man's goings are of the Lord.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And the Lord said, how shall they have a teacher except they be sent? Right. So the Lord set up men and it's, you know, up to the Lord. So we had only been in the truth like maybe 6 months, man. And still to this day, man, I can't even believe it. I probably only knew like 10 precepts. I'm talking about the first from the first day we went out.
Yeah.
We used to go out on Sundays, right? That's the only chance we could get out there. And we used to post up in front of the fire station. I think I still got some of those.
The brothers say 10 precepts, man. What you? How you go out there with 10 precepts?
You're moving in the spirit.
Out there with 10 precepts, one sign, you know what I mean, that we kind of put together and made. But the Lord put it in, you know, kind of put it in your spirit. And when that fire started burning, man, you know, you got to go. If we hadn't done that, it never would have happened.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We never would have went out there. We came into the truth watching the old, I don't know if y'all remember the old Adam Abbott channel before it was watching Israel.
Of course.
Yeah, Nikequam and those brothers. And they didn't have a camp. They didn't, you know, have camps like they do now everywhere. And they didn't have a camp here. So they told us about IUIC. So we actually went to IUIC because we were just learning. We wanted to congregate. So we would go to IUIC on the Sabbath day for class or whatever. But it was so far. It was all the way on across town when we lived at, and it became kind of like a burden going back and forth. So we was there maybe like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so once we stopped going there, we could no longer go there. Andrew was like, man, why don't you start your own camp?
That's just how it be. And that's how it be. Hey, Salaki, real quick, because my story is very similar to of how I came across SOT. I was going to IUIC for about a month and a half straight, almost 2 months. And I felt it's like the drive was too long. Like they ain't too far, but it was kind of out the way. The brothers teaching good doctrine, of course, the brotherhood, you know, mighty men. But
and shouts out, Salaki, real quick, shouts out to IUIC, man.
Hey, shout out to IUIC.
We love those brothers, man. IUIC, man, they the standard, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't like them, but or they say negative things about them, and it's just to speak negative about those brothers it should be a shame. It's hate. It's definitely hate. You know what I mean? Everybody, if you know, doing the work of the Lord, you desire to, you know, be on that level. The order that they have, the way those brothers respect their leadership and their elders, man, and the work that they do, man, all over you know, those brothers are doing what a lot of us wish we could do, man. You know, you want to go out and reach the masses on that level. And they doing that, man. So much respect to IUIC and those brothers and their elders, man.
Absolutely.
Most important. I just definitely want to say that.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, that's what. Hey, believe it or not, that's where a lot of brothers started. A lot of brothers started watching them, and they just, you know, their spirit moved to a different way. That don't mean you stop liking the brothers, but hey, you went.
Yeah, a lot of brothers don't like brothers because they teach certain things differently, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of brothers you want your organization like that. And you see a lot of brothers trying to mimic the blueprint that they set up. And that's cool. Just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Don't be a hater. Don't talk about them, and then you trying to follow their blueprint. You just, you know what I mean? It looks bad.
That's backwards.
So,
that's backwards.
If you're gonna follow like Kobe, Kobe, modeled his game after, not to be carnal, but he modeled his game after Jordan, and he let that be known, and he gave him credit for that. You know what I mean? So it's nothing wrong with that. But when you start to and I hear it all the time. People come up to camp talking about IUIC. In the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I those brothers show, you know what I mean? I started going to IUIC before, you know what I mean? If the circumstance was right, I would be a part of IUIC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It would be too easy for me. I got my blood brother. My blood brother is in IUIC. How can I hate this kid? It don't mean, how can I talk about it when my own flesh and blood is literally in that camp? Nah, man.
Right.
I'm the brothers, and, man, no matter what.
They got it, you kind of got it, you know what I mean? They got, and I feel like for me, the Lord had something different for me because I had to, it's a difference between joining a camp and starting from ground zero. And I had a lot of things that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
That I may have skipped steps, right? I may have not been able to see certain things, right? So the Lord brought me, and that's why you got different camps, right? That's why you got different organizations that teach the truth. This is all of the Lord. You know what I mean? For the gathering together of the saints everywhere. Ultimately, everybody's gonna come together through Yahushua.
That's right.
But going back, you was gonna make a point. You had came in there about you going to IUIC. Was you done with that?
Oh yeah, I was done with that. Yeah.
Okay, kind. So after that, Andrew came. He's like, "Won't you start your own camp?" I'm like, "Start my own camp." I'm like, "Nah, brother." You know what I mean? I can't be like those brothers, man. I ain't, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was under the mentality that, man, I need to get under others. I need to go learn. Because it was in me. I was already kind of teaching. You know what I mean? Like we all of us are teachers, man. Okay. When you come into this thing, man, you're telling everybody, you know what I'm saying? I was studying, you know what I mean, like crazy. But I wasn't right. You know what I mean? I was still smoking weed, still dealing with lust. I didn't have leadership qualities, I didn't, it took a lot of fasting and a lot of praying, and you know what I mean. Eventually, we continued to build up and study, and we were going out there just to teaching our people who they are. We could break down Deuteronomy 28, and we weren't even recording, man. We didn't even have the cameras on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens is, it's natural when the word of God is going out. These things happen. People start coming up, and we was able to go to the scriptures and deal with everything. There were certain things, bro, and this is how I know the Spirit. This is what built my confidence and really set me on fire. There were precepts we was bringing out, bro. Afterward, we'd be like, bro, you know what I mean? I not, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? And that goes, and we used to pray the prayer, Lord, let us not be confounded. You know what I'm saying? For our enemies. Certain prayers we would pray before camp. Asking the Lord for protection and guidance, and keeping our hearts pure and sincere. And so when we start to see that, we're like, oh, this, you know what I mean? That's the Spirit of the Lord, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we started to get serious about it, man. And then we started going out consistently and I think we, even still to this day, man, we have not missed a count. We've been out there every week. Oh, crazy. So it was just me and Andrew. And for a long time, man, and then we didn't even have a YouTube channel. Yeah. You know what I mean? In the beginning, then Andrew kind of made Andrew actually made the channel. So he was really the one, he motivated me to go out and teach. I wasn't thinking about going to go on the highways and byways. Most High used him to put that in my spirit. And it's crazy because I'm the one sent him the video, Adam Abbott.
That's crazy.
Because we was roommates. A lot of people don't know this. Me and Andrew were roommates. You know what I mean? During this time, we came into the truth. And, he was kind of like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? But he saw I was serious about it. I had went and bought a Bible. I actually went to Walmart. I used to be smoking weed.
I still got my Walmart Bible.
Yeah. A little pocket so I think it's in my truck.
It's in my car too. I had my little pocket.
Now I got so many Bibles. I got Bibles everywhere now. You know what I mean? Got Bible in the truck. You know what I mean? Got Bible in the bathroom, everywhere. So from going from not even having a Bible, right? So Um, he see me taking it serious. I'm reading, but I'm still smoking weed. I'm on the balcony. I read my Bible, but I'm smoking weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still not really understanding everything, but I was learning. I was getting it, and I was taking heed to what I was learning. And I'll say this to the people watching: the number one, the most important thing is to learn how to apply what you're learning.
That's right.
Don't study to go out and teach. Don't study to go out and confound people, and don't study to go and prove your family members wrong or to show how much you know. You want to study obviously, you know what I mean, the Lord raised up the teachers, but you want to study to and better yourself. You know what I mean? To improve yourself, right? In your everyday life and how you're living. Certain spirits on you. I learned that I couldn't overcome these things unless I fast and pray. Confess these things to other brothers. You see what I'm saying? There's an order to certain things. You got certain spirits on you that you can't, like a lust. A lot of brothers still deal with lust. This is a battle. These things don't just go away just because you learn precepts. You know,
Yeah.
The Lord allow you to remember scriptures, and because you study. You see what I'm saying? So once I overcame the weed, I had stopped smoking. You know what I'm saying? Once I started teaching, I didn't go out there until I overcame that. But that took months of fasting. Me and Andrew used to fast on a Sabbath day. And sometimes, we know brothers don't recommend that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I just recently fasted Sabbath day because I was sick in my body. I went to the doctor and they was saying some crazy stuff. This is recently. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And we were dealing with things, and the Lord had kind of already put that thing out there that he's calling us to go out and do something. So we have to make sure that we right. Go ahead, King.
I got a precept for you too on that, applying yourself, because I've been harping on that lately, and that's been in my spirit. And you just said it, right? We gotta apply this thing. It ain't about cutting and how much you know, how much wisdom. It ain't. If you ain't applying it, it's all for it's for vanity. If you ain't applying these scriptures, Aharon, give me 1 Timothy 4 and read verse 15 for me.
It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4, and verse 15.
Come on.
Meditate upon these things.
Mm-hmm.
Give thyself wholly to them,
Mm-hmm.
that thy profiting may appear to all.
Read, watch what it say.
Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine.
Come on.
Continue in them.
Do what?
Continue in them.
See, that's the applying part. You gotta continue in them. You can't just learn it and cast it behind your back. You gotta continue in that righteousness, as the brother was saying, man. Right? And a lot of people have that spirit when they come into the truth. That's one thing we teach. When a brother come on our lives and say, hey, I need a precept for my auntie, man. I just came into the truth. Wait, brother, wait. You need to learn the doctrine and apply these scriptures for yourself first before you cut anybody, before you start teaching anybody, right? Hey, but the Lord had for you, what man? You and Andrew, man, had the spirit of, hey, we're gonna fast and get this thing together and start getting this thing in motion, man. So read that part one more time, man.
Read unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
Hey, in doing this, you're gonna save yourself and them that hear thee. Right? That's the important part. So if you continue in the doctrine, you're going to save yourself, number one, meaning you doing and applying the work. And then when you start to teaching it and somebody can see you applying these scriptures to your life, you can also save them. Not even with the lip service, by them watching your actions. By just your light sign, you can, hey, why you acting? This brother acting. This man put the weed down. You ain't trying to go to the strip club no more. You done changed somebody's life or made them consider their own life by your actions, man. So our actions are gonna be weighed in this truth, man. We gotta remember that, right? Go ahead, Salat.
Con. And that's true, because that right there increased my faith. The Lord was blowing me away, man, because you got to think about it. I smoked every day for a long time, man. I've tried. I've said I was gonna stop before. I've gotten certain jobs. I'm like, you know what? I'm done smoking. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, this been going on for, I don't even want to say how long. You see what I'm saying? So for me to, once I overcame that, I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? I done been to church before. You know what I mean? I grew up in Christianity just like most of us did. But it was something different about this truth. You know what I'm saying? So once we overcame that, then we started to learn more about the doctrine and, you know what I mean? Build our confidence up. Then we started to go out and teach the scriptures. And we never, one thing about us, I can say, we never worried about, you know, people watching the YouTube channel or nothing like that, because we never did it for that. Like I said, Andrew just made a channel just so, because everybody else was, maybe, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And it's good to have that. So, you know, people may not be at camp to see you, but, you know, the Lord has set this YouTube up to where, you know, people can get this word from anywhere. You know what I mean? You can be in one spot teaching a word, and having that camera recording allows the, you know, thousands of Israelites to have access to that same word, no matter what they are. They don't have to actually be there.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was good to have that. But for a long time, man, we had like 5 subscribers, you know what I mean? No views for a long time. But we kept going out there. And one thing I noticed was when we teach, the Lord always send a sheep to come and hear the word.
That's right.
If you watch our channel, WFI Orlando, you will see that we don't have a lot of video in the beginning, you know, the old videos, but we don't have a lot of videos. We just out there just, you know what I mean? A lot of our videos is us literally edifying Israel.
Yeah.
And, a lot of Israelites come up and they receive the word. So what came with that was a lot of tribulation. Like I had a wife, you know, I had my daughter, and all hell immediately started to break loose once I started to go and teach. Once I was fully committed, you know what I mean? And I was all the way in this thing.
That's Iraq to it immediately. I
was just about to go there. You know
what
I'm saying? And I remember me and Andrew reading that. Me and Andrew used to read, you know what I'm saying, together. And we read that scripture. You know what I'm saying? All hell started to break loose immediately. And I was given the ultimatums. Like, you know, in the beginning, she began to try. Like she was going to IUIC, you know what I'm saying, with us. You know what I'm saying? She was wearing dresses and everything. You know what I mean? She accepted truth. And then all of a sudden, man, Christmas time came. You know, the holidays came, and she wanted to take my daughter to go see the Christmas tree and the lights. And I'm like, hold on now. You know what I mean? That those days are over with, right? And she gave me an ultimatum. She said, look, you know what I'm saying? Either you're going to choose me and your family, you know what I'm saying? Or this, all of a sudden, now it's a cult. You know what I mean? You was just with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what I mean? Dang, the Lord really, you know what I mean? The Lord really trying me. You know what I'm saying? Not that I was ever going to, you know what I mean, do that, but I understood right there. That was my opportunity to choose a side. The Lord said, choose you this day, right? Yeah. And I chose this truth. I chose the Most High God, and whatever comes with that, it is what it is. And that's not easy.
It ain't.
A lot of people, I know brothers right now that I counsel and talk to, they struggling with that right now. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta pray, and you gotta fast on these things and ask the Lord to give you strength. So I ended up, you know what I'm saying? My wife was gone, my daughter was gone. You know what I'm saying? They actually, for a while, my daughter was taken to Puerto Rico. I done been, you know, with my daughter, and that was tough for me. Being my daughter from day one, living in the same house with me, man. You know, a lot of times these curses, you don't go through this for the Bible and serving God. You know what I mean? So that was new for me. Like, wait a minute. When I was smoking weed and I was doing all manner of wicked, everything was cool.
It's all good.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't facing none of this, right? So that was hard for me. That was, you know, Satan really was trying to work on my mind. You know, that first weekend came up, man. I didn't feel like going to camp. I was down in the spirit. I was confused. You see what I'm saying? Let me get the classic, man. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. That's the whole situation was temptation for me.
Yeah.
Right. And Andrew had his own set of issues too. You know, I let him tell his own story, but we were both going through these things. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Oh, so this, you know what I mean? This ain't it. Right? You endure one thing, guess what? Something else is going to come. We have to constantly endure. Right? That's what this truth is about. It's about endurance. Right? A boxer doesn't go training all these months, you know what I mean, to get in the boxing ring and don't throw no punches. You see what I'm saying? The Lord said the race is not to the swift. Somebody can run a 4 flat 40-yard. That's like a cheetah. A cheetah, the fastest animal, but it only got so much time to catch that prey. If it don't catch that prey within that short amount of time, that cheetah's not going to eat. If that prey or whatever it is has more endurance than that cheetah, that thing is going to get away. So that's what the truth is about. It's not about being fast. It's not about being easy. It's about enduring afflictions, okay? Because that's going to increase your faith, because there are greater things that we have to overcome. These are light afflictions. You see what I'm saying? You got things written in the scriptures like Jacob's trouble. Well, you're really going to be that hour of temptation. All these things we go through now is going to build you up. It's like lifting weights, right? It's going to build you up to be able to handle that. If you endure all these light afflictions, the Lord is going to increase your faith and give you what you need to overcome, you know, when it's most importantly, where your salvation is dependent on it, right?
Right.
It says to constantly endure. And here's the thing right here. And I thought this was so crazy reading this, right? And make not haste in time of trouble. See, a lot of times we be in a rush to get out of a situation. When you're in a rush to get out of a situation, you'll take any way out.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? And a lot of times brothers be in affliction and they're such in a rush to get. And a lot of times we try to get in the Lord's way. The Lord may be afflicting the brother and want to sit him there for a little bit, because that's the only way he's going to learn. And then somebody wants to come and rescue them. No, the Lord don't get glory in that. You're going to give the glory to that man that got you out of that situation. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes the Lord want to sit you in that fire for a reason, so you don't make haste in it. You know what I mean? We rejoice in affliction, right? It says, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, right? Don't blame the truth. A lot of times people go through things in the truth. They want to blame them, or maybe this not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? The Lord not dealing with me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not good enough. No, that's not what it is. You are, right? That's why the Lord is bringing these things on you, because what do we know about the Most High? The Lord is going to prove you. I'm going to come back to that. Let me get Deuteronomy real quick, right? And we tell people all the
You
time.
brought a heavy point, because you said to rejoice in that. You know how hard it is to teach a brother that's going through a situation where they might, like you said, for example, your situation, they ribbed on left and took the child. You got to rejoice in that.
You got to rejoice in that.
How?
Hey, for some brothers, that's asking. That sounds crazy. You're asking too much.
That's too much.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this how the Lord gets down.
And that's why I wanted to do this lesson with you, because that's the spirit. That's why people start to lose that motivation, and this is the motivation that you need to get your mind right. You gotta rejoice in this, man. Matter of fact, you're not alone in this thing. That's why that's why I'm bringing brothers on, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm the only one going through a situation like this.
Right.
It's never that. It's never the case. Brothers and sisters across the globe that's keeping these commandments and the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua is going through the same exact tribulations you're going through, man. Right. So it's important to hear brothers' testimony, especially leaders in the community, right? To show, look, I mean, we're going through the same thing, man. We're going through the same trials, but this is how we got through it in the spirit. Go ahead,
Con. And that's a great point too, man. So you know, we tell people all the time, you know, we go to Sirach chapter 6, you know, prove a friend.
Yeah.
Right. When you come to serve, remember, we're strangers. Right?
Yeah.
We're strangers. You can't just come back to the Lord, man. We all filthy and dirty. Hey, we tell brothers when they come join the camp, we got to prove you first. It's a process, right? Mm-hmm. You can't just walk up and stand next to me. I don't know you, brother. I don't know what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? I don't know what type of person you are, man. I don't know what spirit you're rolling in. No, we got to prove you. So the Lord told us to prove a friend. So this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. Why were we in the wilderness for 40 years? Why didn't the Lord then just bring us out of Egypt and we just walk into a land flowing with milk and honey? He could have did that.
Mm-hmm.
He told us after the doings of Egypt, we're not supposed to do that no more. You got to think about it. How our people being in Egypt amongst these wicked people, all the doctrine and the evil spirits and all the things that we picked up, those things had to be purged out. You see the spirit they were in the wilderness?
Yep.
Straight rebellion.
Right? Yep. Why did the Lord have us in the wilderness for 40 years? He's going to tell you why. Verse 2 again, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee. Right? We have to be humble. God needed to. I was a proud man in the world. The Lord had to take everything from me and humble me down. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna explain that too. That's exactly what he did. Okay, because there's more to the story. It says to humble thee and to prove thee. So the Lord is not just telling you to do something he doesn't do. The Lord said he proves. You want to come serve the Lord, he's going to prove you, right? To prove thee to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
That's
Can
a
you
dagger.
keep his commandments and remain faithful when I'm taking everything from you? When you're being broken down, when you're catching hell, right? When you lose your job, are you still going to keep the commandment? Are you still going to go out and do the work? That's what I had to ask myself, because my household is being torn down. You see what I'm saying? My daughter's being taken away from me. When I'm doing the right things, I'm turning from my evil ways and starting to begin to take the steps and walking in righteousness, going out and teaching my people. Now you're going to take these things from me? Why didn't you take them from me when I was being wicked and doing all manner of evil?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because now you coming to serve the Lord. Now you got to prepare yourself, because I'm going to bring temptation. Satan is going to tempt you. He's going to try you, right? The Lord allows Satan to tempt Job.
Hey, real quick, the water to the 12 gates. The water to the 12 gates of Israel, Utah. The water for the generous donation. All praise. Go ahead,
And I had to think. I remember reading Job. I'm like, I'm not a righteous man. I'm not like Job.
So imagine what I gotta go through.
Yeah, who the hell am I? I'm gonna sit here and soak in my misery after reading what Job went through. He was just. I deserve everything that I go through. The Lord never called me perfect, right? I'm not a righteous man. I'm a filthy, wicked man. I have to work, all right, and go out and prove myself, and hope that I become worthy enough for the Lord to blot these things out and remember my wickedness no more and make me righteous in his sight, right? So going back to Sirach 2, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, and thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Remember, this is a marathon, right? See, Jake won it now. You hear Jake say this. So we talk like this and we say this all the time. Oh, we want Putin to push the button.
Yeah.
We can't wait for this place to be destroyed.
Okay.
And the Lord can come back tomorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to happen on his time. So we got to be patient. We have to be patient in this thing, so we can be increased at that last end whenever that end comes, right? Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Whatever you got to go through, you got to take it cheerfully, right? You got to joy in the Lord and be not weary in well-doing, because affliction comes with that, because that's the Lord trying you and proving you. It says, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. And this scripture, this chapter really helped me understand. I started to receive it and I accepted that, because I understood that the Lord was dealing with me, because I understood that this is not necessarily judgment. This is a trial, because I I proclaim myself to be a child of God. All right. I proclaim myself to be teaching the truth. I say I'm coming in the name of a Mashiach Yahushua. So guess what? If you're going to talk like that, guess what? I'm approved. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see if you could keep that same energy. This is how the Lord gets down, man. That's how it is. Even with you know, I always use a lot of sports analogies, but when somebody want to get drafted, guess that team has to prove them. And they got a draft combine. They don't. It's not a. You can average 30 points a game. There's another brother. He averaged 31. They don't know if I want you. If I want you. So they take these men who already proved that they can score. They already proved that they can do these things, and they have these attributes. Well, they do sit down and interview them, ask them certain questions. They want to know about your character.
Yeah.
Right. They want to put you in certain scenarios and see how you would answer, how you would you know what I mean, respond to it. You see what I'm saying? They put you in certain drills. All right, they want to see if you discipline, man. Can you follow order? Same thing with the Most High. The Most High want to try you and put you in situations to see if you're worthy, right? It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So when you go through adversity, that's a trial, right? And the goal is to come out like gold and not to fold. It's easy to fold and to give up. It would have been easy for me to say, you know what? You know what I mean? I'm going to choose my family. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord said, don't give your strength to a woman. Right. When the serpent came, did the serpent go right to Adam?
He couldn't.
Where did the serpent go?
Yeah,
he went to the woman, man. So when Satan want to destroy, he's going to use the woman. You see what I'm saying? So, in understanding that was a huge thing for me, and this happened right in the beginning. Not all brothers that happen like this. Sometimes it's down the line.
Yeah.
But I got hit immediately coming in this thing, and that was something you know, that was difficult for me, right? So I had to make a decision. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that I made the decision that I made because it strengthened me. It kind of put me on fire, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was thankful. I began to thank the Most High and to praise the Most High, man. And I really came into the truth after that. When those things started happening to me, I really came into the truth, man. Right? Let me get this real quick in Romans chapter 5.
Oh, yeah. What, verse 3?
Khan, you already know.
And I hope people is listening good, man, because this is the motivation that you need. A brother that's doing the work, that's been doing the work, started 2-3 brothers, is telling you, man, hey, I've been through these same trials and tribulations. I've been through it. I've been there, lost it all at one point, right? But now look, man, the Most High is still gather my spirit and gather the people around me, right? So that's you, right? When you hear brothers talking about their situation, that's also you, man. Before you get that out, let me get Lamentation out here real quick. 3:26. Right?
You said Lamentation 2 and 6?
Lamentations 3:26.
Okay.
Lamentations 3:26, barbecue shop.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 3 and verse 26.
Matter of fact, start at 24.
Verse 24.
Actually, I start at 22 because this pretty good. You know, Jeremiah is talking this. Read 22. Start at 22, Salah.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 22. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not.
Right, so it's of the Lord's mercy that we ain't consumed. We start going through those trials and tribulations, like the brother said. You want to give the credit and find another way out, or like how Yahweh taught, you want to climb up some other way, right? But you got to wait on Yahweh. It's through him that you're not consumed in these trials and tribulations. When you start turning to the left or to the right, he bring you right back. Keep going out.
They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness.
It says they are new every morning, man. Yahweh is gonna be faithful unto them that continue to serve him, man. Like the brother said, those that continue to sit in that fire and rejoice in that tribulation, right? Because who are we to mope and excuse my language, bitch about it when Yahweh Shah laid his life down for us, went on the cross, got spit on, punched, slapped, stabbed in the 5th rib.
I was gonna make that point. Yup.
Who are we to cry about it when Yahweh Shah had to go through all that? See?
Hey, so like
go ahead.
I that was a night, man. I was literally in tears, man. I was reading the account of what Yahweh Shah went through, and I wasn't even crying at because of what he went through. I was crying because I was doing a lot of complaining about what I was going through. You see what I'm saying? And I just felt like shit. You know what I mean? I just felt like I felt so unworthy, man. And I was in tears, man. And it just really gave me some perspective. Just, reading about what our Lord went through. And here I am, you know what I mean? We haven't gone through anything like that. These are light afflictions. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about the entirety of his life. He's just going through it, man.
Right.
You got to come to the feast day and hide tabernacles. Hey, y'all go first. I'll be there in a little bit.
Right.
You got to come hide.
Yeah.
And so
we're not suffering persecution on that level. Come.
Salaki, man, I just wanted to bring out like one or two on that sitting in that fire and being tried as gold, because that's some heavy stuff, man. And so real quick, this first one will be 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and I'm gonna read 73.
Oh yeah, kind of. Get out.
And it reads, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire." So right there, that's how you know, that's how you have the ability to show, what's really inside of you. That's how you have the ability to show your faith. That's how you have the ability to show the spirit that's inside of you, because the Most High is going to try you as gold in the fire. And then I'm going to get over to Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 9.
Let me get it for you real quick. I'm going to read it for you. It said 13 and 9. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 9. "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined."
Yes, so you see right there, that's we talk about the 1/3, the hopeful elect want to be the 1/3. Listen, if you part of the 1/3, pursuant to Sirach chapter 2, prepare for temptation, prepare to be tried, as silver is refined. Well, and when you think about it, we're gonna get into it in Jeremiah 9 and 7, but when you think about the refining process, the whole purpose of that is to burn you down, take away your foundation and your faculties, and get rid of all your impurities. And so that way you're nothing but pure gold. And that's the way it's going to happen. And if the first time you get in a little bit of fire, if you're ready to get out of it, you cannot be refined. That's why I said, "Then shall it be known who are my chosen." And if you read more in that Sirach chapter 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, it says those that consent to them, they're gonna be had in derision anyway. So if you try to get out the fire, you ain't gonna make it anyway. So your only choice is to go through it and sit in it and let the Most High refine you, homie.
That's right.
Keep going.
"And I will try them as gold is tried.
Right.
And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them."
So you see, when you sit there and you just thank the Most High and acknowledge Him, and you say, "You know what, the water, Abba, for even trying me like this, the water for allowing me to make it here. I made it to another, a year, another day of atonement, and you allowing me to be tried and sit in this, the water." And what happened? What happened when we called on His name? He's going to hear you.
That's right.
Okay, because you're sitting in that. You're not trying to go away from that, right? Go ahead.
"I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my power." That's
a powerful thing. So that's what you need to do. When you sit in there and that fire is going on, man, don't run. You can try, man. And then the last one, Baba Kashah, can you please give me Jeremiah 9 and 7?
Jeremiah 9 and 7. Good time. Hold on, Baba Kishah. I'm in Isaiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9, and verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will melt them.
What do you say?
I will melt them.
Well, think about that. We're talking about gold and we're talking about silver. These are metals. These are hard things that have a structural foundation. To be melted is to literally have your entire foundation destroyed. You need to be prepared for that, and it's truth. Being tried like that, everything that you think is consistent and that you have is going to be gone. And everything that you had when you were smoking and drinking and or you ain't drinking in sin, but you get the point. When you was living in sin, that might go because you're doing righteousness, and you need to be prepared for that. You understand? Understand that is of the Lord. Keep going.
And try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people?
So you see, listen, we're going to be tried. Understand that. And consider it thankworthy that the Most High dealing with you as a son and chastising you and trying you. You know?
Right.
It's a very, 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 it sucks, but I look at it as an opportunity to say, hey, look, when you put me in the game, you saw what I did. I was balling out for you. So, it's an opportunity for you to get some points on the board. Look at it like that.
That's right.
And I yield right there.
That's right. You want to get that Romans out?
Oh, yeah, Con. I forgot about Romans 5 and Romans 5 and verse 3. I'm gonna start at verse 2. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Okay. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahweh Shai, by whom also we have access by faith into his grace, wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also. Right? We glory in tribulations also.
Right.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience. We know we have to be patient when you're dealing with the Most High and waiting on the Most High, and you know what I mean? Well, guess what? You can't learn true patience without tribulation.
That's right.
Like a lot of times we tell brothers to pray for faith, and I was praying for faith. Guess what? If you pray for faith, how is the Lord going to increase your faith? What do you think the Lord going to do?
Hey, that's a good point. I ain't never thought about it like that. I ain't never thought about it like that.
You got to know what you're asking for. You got to know the God you're dealing with. How does the Lord increase your faith? If you asking the Lord to increase your faith, you better understand how he gets down. He's going to increase your faith by what? Proving you.
Yep.
Sending you, putting you in trials and tribulations that you have to endure and overcome. If you want your faith increased, get out of this. Endure this. Prove yourself here. Prove yourself there. Right? Trials and tribulation teach it patience. That's why the Lord said in Acts 14, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. Not just walk in the kingdom. Hey, a lot of brothers, hey man, you gotta think about it. Look at how the apostles went out.
Yeah.
Look how they went out, man. Those things are going to happen again. You see what I'm saying? Hey, when you go to war, if this is a spiritual war right now, but things can get physical. You see what I'm saying? You got men that's going to be beheaded. They're going to have to go through that trial and make that decision to die for the Lord. Or you can fold and turn your back on the Lord. But if you don't go through nothing now and prepare yourself and get your faith built up now, how are you going to? You got a lot of brothers, they think that they can just turn it on and off.
Nah.
At the end of the day, it's of the Lord. That's why he's trying men. The Lord is going to determine whether or not you fold or not. You see what I'm saying? The Lord ruleth in the hearts of men. The Lord is in control of this thing. The Lord controls my spirit. You see what I'm saying? Reading on, it says, Salakia, I lost my place. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope make it not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us. Right? I'm going to jump down real quick to verse 11. Check this out. And not only so, but we also joy in the Most High through our Lord Yahweh Shai, by whom we have now received the atonement.
That's right.
Hey, the sons of thunder, father came to the Lord and wanted his sons to sit on his right hand and his left hand. What did the Lord tell him? What did the Lord respond by saying? He said, are you able to drink of the cup?
Yeah.
Are you able to go through the fire that I got to go through? You see what I'm saying? Now, I can't tell you where you're going to sit at, right? But if you want to be with me, if you want to follow me, guess what? You got to drink of that cup of affliction.
That's right. All right.
So affliction, trials, and tribulation is a part of the truth. It comes with the truth. You can't separate. If you don't want to go through trials and tribulations, it may not be for you.
Yeah.
You might want to go do something different.
Hey, you might want to go get that prosperity doctrine. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might want to go to church Sunday morning and try to figure out, you know what I mean, how the Lord gonna bless you with a new house, right? Don't come in the truth looking for new houses, right? You should look for affliction, right? It is good that I have been afflicted. That's what King David said. It is good that I have been afflicted. That's the spirit that we got to be in. Affliction and trials and tribulation is good, man. Right? It don't feel good all the time, but when you got faith and you got trust in the Lord, right? Then you understand these things and you start to embrace it and you take it cheerfully. Because guess what? When you overcome it, guess what? Your faith is increased a little more. So the next thing, guess what? You're ready for it. Now, when your brother is going through, hey, I already been through that. That's why I said experience too.
Yes.
Right? Hope. Patience. Now I can be patient with this brother. Yeah, the brother still smoking weed. I'm not condemning that brother. I just went through it.
Yeah.
Right? Now I can be patient with the Lord was patient with me. I don't got to throw the brother away. Hey, brother, get out of here. You out the camp, brother. You smoking weed? Brother, that's a sin. Get out of here. No, brother. Romans 8:1 said there's no condemnation that believe in Yahweh. The brother's fighting. You see what I'm saying? Especially a brother that confesses fault and acknowledges he has a problem, he needs help. Now I have experience. I've gone through these afflictions. Your family left you. Your family persecuting you, right? And I've been through that too, brother. You see what I'm saying? Now I can be there for my brother. Hey, the Lord told Peter, Satan had desired to have thee, but I have prayed for thee.
Yeah, kind.
Now go what? Strengthen thy brother.
Yeah, kind.
So it's not just about us either, right? It's also about the nation. It's also about the body too. All right, and being there for one another. Let me get another precept. Let me get this in 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
I can read it for you. You can break it down.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 7. Brethren, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endure all things.
You know, see, Jake, he want to believe everything in the scripture. We believe the whole Bible. Yeah. Brother, do you really?
No.
Do you believe it? Right? Do you believe it when you're going through it? Or do you only believe it when you're teaching somebody else? Because you just sometimes this truth has turned into a sport. Right?
That's what happened. That's what has happened. Right?
See, people get the wrong idea, right? Because now the truth is a sport. It's like a whole nother, it's like a whole nother religion. No, if you believe everything in it, it tells you have to endure. You got to bear it all things.
That's right.
Yeah, you got to believe all things. And you got to endure everything that comes with the truth. Now, the good things don't come with the truth. The good things that come with the truth comes after you endure. It's going to come at the end. Ain't no good things comes with coming in the name of the Lord in a wicked society that hates him and hates his people and hates the Most High. You ain't getting nothing good out of it. You're not getting nothing good from people that despise the laws of God and despise the men that teach it and despise correction. So you have to do what? You have to endure all of that to get to your reward. You see what I'm saying? So when we would say we believe everything in the Bible, do you really? Because it tells you about, like the brother just talked about, the furnace of the fire. That's a big concept in the Bible.
Yes.
Going through affliction. The Lord told us to remember our fathers of old. The Lord never forsook none of them. So if you believe, you understand, if you go through the fire and you stand up for the Lord and you remain strong, the Lord not going to forsake you.
That's right.
That's a part of his plan. That's a part. You got to stick to the script. That's a part of the script. You see what I'm saying? You can't be in a movie and you go off script. They're going to say cut. It's never going to make it to the big screen.
That's right.
They don't get you out of there. Yeah,
hey, really, that's climbing up another way.
Yep, that's climbing up another way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like this part. I'm gonna do it like this.
Yeah,
You can't do that, man. The director's gonna say cut, right? And if you don't get it correct, they're gonna get somebody else in there. Same thing with the Most High, man. If the Most High got your lot set up, you gotta go through everything He puts before you, and you gotta enjoy it. That's a beautiful thing, man. Right? Let me get this in Hebrews chapter 6 and 15. Baba Kashar.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 6 and verse 15. And it reads, and it reads, and so after he had patiently endured.
After he had what?
Patiently endured.
After he patiently endured, right? After, right? Now you gotta kind of
not before, right?
Yeah, not before, right? You can't kind of erase that part.
Yeah,
Jake want to get an eraser and erase that part out, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta go through it. Not only do you gotta go through it, you gotta pass the test, right? You gotta go through it and you gotta come out like gold. Read on.
He obtained the promise.
He did what?
He obtained the promise.
Yeah, the Lord, there are promises, right? We already know the adoption, the glory, the covenants, everything is for Israel. We know we the Israelites.
That's right.
But guess what? In order to receive it, see the Lord, see one thing about it, see a lot of people think that it's just automatic. Mm-hmm. A lot of brothers think they just got to put their fringes on. Mm-hmm. and come to camp, right? In order to receive it, you have to endure.
That's heavy.
You have to endure. That's important, man. Nobody wants to endure. Nobody wants to go anything. Yeah, I wish I told you that, man. But he that endured unto the end. Endure what? Brothers go to Matthew 24 all the time. He that endured to you want to go there. You only want to go there when a Christian says stay saved.
Stay saved. That's it. That's the only time.
Yeah, that's the only time you want to go there.
Yeah.
But you don't want to deal with it when you're being afflicted, when you lose your job, when you get sick.
On that personal level.
Yeah. When you can't pay your rent.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. All things. You have to endure all things in the truth. And that just
let me get in there. Let me get in there real quick. Let me get you spitting fire. You better spit hot fire. Praise. Let me get in there real quick. Give me 1 Peter 4. And the brother is bringing it out, man. You got to endure this thing, man. That's why we doing a motivation class. It's about it. Just go through it. Somebody type that in the chat, man. Sit in the fire. In the chat, just type "sit in the fire," man. Right? That's what we should have titled the class out. You should have told me that. You held out on me, y'all.
That's the spirit, man. I ain't know. You know what I mean?
In the fire, man.
You know,
that's what it's about.
This wasn't planned. You know, I'm feeding off y'all, man.
Oh, praise. You know that's what it's about.
Y'all set the tone, man. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just feeding off of, the spirit that y'all was already in.
All praise. That's how we like to go, man. We like to just move in the spirit, man. And the chat is down with it. Sit in the fire, man. We might gotta do a lesson on that. Give me 1 Peter 4 and 12. Right?
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you.
Hey, so it said, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, right? Which is to try you. So there's a purpose behind the trial. What's the purpose? Keep going, Doc.
As though some strange thing happened to you.
Come on.
But rejoice.
But what?
But rejoice.
No. I gotta cry about it.
But rejoice.
I gotta mope around about it.
But rejoice.
I gotta quit.
Rejoice.
It says rejoice in that thing, man. That's sitting in the fire. That got to be the spirit going for 2023 AD, man. Sitting in that fire. When the Most High hit you with something, sit in the fire. Hey, you coined that. Sit in that fire, man. When the Most High send that thing, sit in that fire, man. What you turning to the left hand and to the right hand for, trying to come up another way? What you whining about it for? Didn't you ask for this? Didn't your house say, blessed are they that are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven? When men shall revile you and say all manner of evil against you, you signed up for that.
Yep.
Soon as I cross, right? I'm a drink of that cup, like the brother brought out. You signed up for that. You signed up for the fiery trial. So now it says, but rejoice. Read on. And as much.
Yeah. But rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings.
Because when you go through something, you are now a partaker of the suffering of Christ, whether it's something major or something even minor, right? Excuse me. You are a partaker of that suffering. You are a part of the body of suffering that we must go through to get through this thing, to get through this fire, to be refined as that gold, man. When you think about refining gold, it gotta get hot. It's a lot of impurities when you're going digging for gold. And to get it that pure 24 or really 23.9999 gold, right? It take a lot of heat, right? Take a lot of pressure. And pressure can either do two things. It can bust a pipe or make a diamond, man. And the end result is to be made a diamond in this truth. That's the end result. But too many times we let that pressure bust us, man. Right? And we fall to the flesh. Instead of knowing, God, this is Satan, man. You got to start saying that when you're going through a trial, right? Oh, this is Satan, man. He want me to turn.
Calm.
Right? He want me to throw in the towel. Hey, man, we ain't throwing in the towel no more.
Calm.
We ain't throwing in the towel no more. We're gonna endure the fiery trials, right? Even though some of them even be strange and weird, like why is this happening? Yo, I'm gonna endure it. I'm gonna rejoice in it, right? I'm gonna call a brother. Hey, I'm going through something. All praises. Hey, I don't know the last time a brother called me and said that. Matter of fact, let me get on me. I don't know the last time I've called a brother and said that. Yo, I'm going through this. How you feeling? Hey, all praises. The Most High dealing with me as a son. Hey, the Most High dealing with a sister as a daughter, for a sister to say it, right? Instead of crying and complaining about it. You can vent about it, but at the end of the conversation, say this, man. Hey, all praises, the Most High. Hey, dealing with me. All praises, man. I'm glad we can do this. Go ahead,
Khan, real quick. There's another element to that too that I want brothers and sisters to really think about, right? That fire. Now, it's not always a trial, right? Sometimes it's judgment. And you have to have discernment and to understand when you're going through something. Is it a trial or is this judgment? Right? If you know you've been sinning, if you know you've been going off, right? If you know you've been being a hypocrite, you've been going to camp, you've been teaching, guess what? That may be judgment from the Most High. You may want to get it together, right? That like I always talk about grace being like a cup of water. And every time you go off, a little drop go out, right? Every time you don't know how much grace you got in that cup. So if you going to hell off and you're not being sincere and you're not repenting, right? Brothers going off and they not, because one thing about this truth, and I talk to a lot of brothers and I do a lot of counsels, that one thing that I learned about it is the fact that we know sometimes it's a burden too. knowing that the Lord heareth not sinners.
Yeah.
Now you can't even pray. Now you don't even want to pray.
So that's the
You don't even want to go before the Lord because you in sin. You don't want to go to the Lord with a froward heart. You know you all in sin.
Yeah.
You have been given over to. You can't stop. And you're doing it secretly. You're not asking for help. You can't pray. You're not praying. That means you're not repenting.
Yeah.
That's why you going through it. Sometimes I have to tell brothers that. Then they'll kind of bring it out. Oh, okay. Oh, brother, brothers come on, yeah, I've been going through it, man. The fire, I got to get through the fire. No, brother, you got to repent.
Facts.
You got to change. You got to get that spirit. You got to come out of that, brother.
Hey, that's real,
change
man.
your ways. So don't get twisted what we're talking about. Understand your situation, right? Examine yourself. Okay, let's not forget that. That's very important. Make sure you understand how the Lord is dealing with you. Now, if that's not the case for you, then yeah, you got to endure that thing, you know what I'm saying, and overcome it. But understand if you and we all go off, you know what I'm saying. Let me make that clear too, right? But I'm talking about just willfully, just really dealing with a spirit, a demon, and you just run into it, automatically, and you're not repenting, right? I just wanted to make that point. And one quick precept, real quick, about that same fire. This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. It's always interesting to me to hear with these men that was with Yahushua, how they teaching and things that they're saying and the advice that they are giving, knowing that they learned directly, okay, from our Lord. Okay, and these things are written for our learning. All right. So this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. That the trial of your faith, okay, this is the point. The trial of your faith. Let's see what Peter said about the trial of your faith. Being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of a Mashiach Yahushua, right? Whom having not seen, ye love. Right? And he's, what is he saying? He's saying that there has to be a proving period. There has to be something to prove your faith. You can't just say something. You can't just feel something, okay, and desire. You may be sincere and really want to love something or love somebody, but there's a way to prove it. That's what he's saying. The trial of your faith. Your faith has to be tried. It has to be. Right? Whom having not seen, and it's even harder now. Because we wasn't with Peter and them. We ain't seen no damn miracles.
None.
We seeing them now through the Spirit.
Yeah.
We got ears to hear. But we haven't seen miracles, man. We didn't see water turn into wine. Right? We didn't see the dead being raised literally and physically. Okay? Whom ye have not seen, ye love. And whom, though now ye see him not, yet believing. Yeah. We show our belief through our actions, through our works. And the Lord gonna send fire behind that, right? Ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory. Here's the point: receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls.
That's right.
He's telling you that trials and tribulation, all of that go hand in hand. Faith, right? Your love for the Lord, man. Your love for the congregation, for Israel, okay? All these things go hand in hand, and you got a joy in that thing. You got to enjoy this ride, and that goes with being thankful, right? We have to be thankful, man. That the Lord even allowed us to come this far, even allowed us to understand the simple things of the scriptures that we know, that we see on a weekly basis, that our people, some of them just can't get it.
You can't.
You know what I mean? So it's good to have these trials because they don't have it. Even things that they go into, and they're not seeing what we see in the trial.
Yeah.
You understand? But that's the point I want to make on that.
Hey, go back to that real quick. I'm gonna let you get in there. Get a few more. Go back to that first. Well, we in 1 Peter already. 13 one more time, but that's just gonna finish the thought, or even what the brother brought up.
4 and 13.
Yeah, 4 and 13.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 13.
What does it say?
But rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Read the next verse.
If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye.
And that's huge too, man. When you're being reproached, right? Because Yahweh shall say, he said, what? The world hated me first. So you follow me, it's gonna hate you. But it says, happy are you when that happens, right? So when a brother says something about you, or a sister, or your family, you going through it. It's happy are you when you being reproached for Christ's sake. You gotta know how to see that, understand that, and say, man, that this is how it's supposed to be, because Yahweh Shah went through this same spirit. Right? Yahweh Shah went through the same. Hey, read verse 1 now. Read verse 1 of that. 1 Peter 4:1. Read that.
1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. For as much then as Christ had suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
See, we got to arm ourselves with the same mind that we're going to suffer in the flesh as well. That, number one, that's not falling for the flesh. Right? Like the brother said, a lot of times we'll call it a trial or a tribulation, but really you done fell to the flesh.
Yeah.
And most times knocking you across the head. That ain't no trial or tribulation. That's you got to go through that, right?
Yeah.
But when you're trying to be righteous, you going to camp, keeping the commandments, you know what I'm saying? The sisters, you obeying your Lord, you're keeping the house in order, whatever the case may be. You trying to do the right things to the best of your ability, and you going through that trial and tribulation. You got to start to arm yourself, right, with the same mind as Yahweh Shah. I mean, what? Gird up your loins, man.
Yeah.
First Peter even said, what? Gird up your mind.
Yep.
We got to gird our mind in this walk, man, because if not, it's too easy to be turned astray. It's too easy to just fall out of this thing. So it's important that when we're going through something, you rejoicing and examine yourself. Oh, happy as me. I'm happy about this, man. I've been trying to do everything to the best of my ability. I'm happy about this right here. Right? And I heard you say this one time. Like, if you ain't going through something, I was like, when you said this, I was like, this brother here. He said, if you ain't going through something, hey, pray the Lord send you a tribulation, man. I said, I don't want that. I was like, but that's good.
Hey, I get worried, man. Is everything just going too smooth, man?
It's too good.
Man. Yeah, everything's just too smooth, man. You know what I mean?
Brother said, hey, pray the Lord send you a trial. Hey, when he said, I said, I don't want that trial. Hey, but at the same time, I got you. At the same time, hey, the scripture say, who the Lord loveth, he chastised. So that trial gotta come, right? Go ahead,
Khan, and another thing too about that fire and about trials, it's like a mirror too. See, a lot of times that fire is like a mirror, because a lot of times when you've been afflicted, it puts you in deep thought. It allows you to, it'll show you too, right? These trials and these fire, it'll show you what you need to get better at. It'll show you what you need to improve upon. And sometimes the Lord got to sit you in that fire because he got to slow you down so you can see it. And you may not recognize it otherwise. You see what I'm saying? So that fire is good for many reasons, man. So we got to embrace it and get used to it. You know what I mean?
It's a lot real quick. Yeah, just to lay me back on that point right there. And then also the point that you brought out, talk about how people say they believe, but they don't really believe all of it like that. But man, this is the book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 12. And it says, now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. You know what I'm saying? So these trials that you hear about of what's going to happen to us and Jacob trouble and this and that, listen, it's the whole point of that is so the most. And if you read down to 16, he's explaining, because I'll just read it. Verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbear to punish, till they come to the fullness of their sins, so he dealeth with us. Right? So I'm gonna break this and I'm gonna read down to 16. So you see how the Most High, a lot of times you wonder, man, why these heathens get to do this? You know, why this man get to treat me like this? Why they get to kill us like this and they don't have no problems? Why Esau get to destroy, steal, and take everything and still look like he on top? You know? But you gotta understand, especially those who, trying to be in that 1/3, you being tried, it's a chastening. The Most High is spanking you, as you're going through it. So then that way, when it's all said and done, he can have mercy on you because he knows. And if we had read out in 1 Peter 4:1, it says basically those who get that punishment, they're gonna refrain from sin. But verse 15, it says, lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdraw his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet he do never forsake his people. So you see, it has to happen. And be happy that we are getting this, because it's almost guaranteed that, if you get the trial and you go through it, you're gonna get that salvation, man. And that's what we all been talking about here this whole time, man. So once again, sit in that fire. Oh yeah.
Yeah, praise. Yeah, praise. Hey, give me Psalms 113, right? Give me Psalms 113 and I think it's the second to last verse I want. Yeah, the second to last verse.
All right.
Because the people got to notice too, like, we could tell them to sit in the fire, but we also got to encourage them. Like, they got to know how to, like, it's easy to just say it, but how do you get through it? Let's read this real quick. This is one way, just knowing this off the top.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 113 and verse 8.
Start at verse 7.
Verse 7. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust.
It says that's number one. Understanding that when you're going through something, the Most High will raise you up, man. You just got to sit in it for a while. So the complete and 100% trust in Yahweh Shai, I like to call it insurance. Like, you got to have full assurance, right, in Yahweh Shai. You got to know if you slip or are you going through a trial, Yahweh Shai going to cover you every time. Right? You got to understand that first and foremost. If not, you're doing the whole truth event. If you don't think Yahweh Shai got you, right? That's the whole blanket of the truth. Is knowing that Yahweh Shai will always cover for you, right? So knowing that, you got to know that, hey, if you brought to a lower state, the Most High lift you out of the hell, bring the poor man out of the dust. Read on.
And lifted the needy out of the dunghill.
He said he'll lift the needy out of the dunghill. Come on.
That he may set him with princes.
Right, and he'll put you on the pedestal that you need to be on. He'll set you up, right? You might have lost your rent or something, or you can't afford this, that, and the third for the month. Hey, the Most High handle that if you just enduring this thing, man. But they want to go back to slanging, right? They want to go take it from somebody. That's the wrong spirit. You got to endure this thing, man. Read on.
Yeah. That he may set him with princes, even with the princes of his people.
Come on.
He maketh the barren woman to keep house, to be a joyful mother of children.
Right. Hey, even the women, right? And this is a touch precept, right? But even the women, man. He said, if you were a barren sister, right? Hey, the Most High can make your womb fruitful, man. But you got to trust and believe that, right? You got to continue to go through the trials, right? You got to continue to keep these commandments and understand that the Most High is able to do everything for you. Because Yahweh Shai said it what? Hey, little flock, it is of my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So why not? If Yahweh Shai, think about it like this. If Yahweh Shai want to give you the kingdom, why wouldn't he give you the little things in this life that you need or that you want? If he wants to give you his kingdom, he wants you to be a part of that. So why will he not take care of you on this carnal fleshly level? Right? But the way for Yahweh Shai to take care of you is to remain in that faith. Right? To remain in the faith. Through the ups and through the downs. That be the part, man. When you go through them downs, man, you don't want to remain no more. right? So that's an encouraging scripture I thought about. Hey, for the sisters, man, right? Some of our sisters need to hear that, and that you don't just have to be bearing whatever the sisters may be going through, man, because it might seem like we gearing it toward the men and whatever, right? But whatever the sisters going through, hey, y'all gotta know, y'all gotta have this same spirit. Y'all gotta be having these same conversations with sisters, right? Because I know I can call Jonathan or Aharon and have this conversation. I know this for a fact. So you sisters got to be studied as well and know how to go to these precepts. Hey, sis, you got to endure that trial. Let me show you. Let me go to Peter. Hey, sister, hey, you got to endure this tribulation. Oh, sis, you went off. That's why you're going through this. You got to repent, sis, and turn from your way. You got to examine yourself to get you through this, right? Y'all got to know to have these same conversations, sisters, right? Y'all brothers got anything? I got a few more.
You got it up.
Okay, con. Give me Jeremiah 29:11. This is one of my favorites, man. Jeremiah 29:11.
Yeah, buddy. This be cutting all types of doctrines. All right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
For I know the thoughts that I think towards you.
See, the Most High said he know the thoughts. See, a lot of times too, right? What happens is you be having an evil thoughts towards yourself.
Right.
It's like the worldly proverb, I'm my worst enemy. Nah, you got to be your best. You can't be an enemy to yourself. That don't even give. I'm about to say you got to be your best enemy. That don't make sense. You can't be an enemy to yourself. Why? Because even the Most High say he don't have them thoughts towards you, man. Right? You don't even know the thoughts that he has towards you, matter of fact. But he going to explain it to you. Read on. You on mute, right?
Oh, Salakia. Okay. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord. Thoughts of peace.
Thoughts of what?
Thoughts of peace.
So the Most High say he got thoughts of peace for you, right? So even the trial that he send you, he wants you to get through it. Actually, he's going to give you the way to get through it. But you just got to trust in that way, right? See, a lot of times we stop trusting in the way, and once you start to climb up some other way, you're falling, man. I'm telling you. Once you start to do it another way, that's the wrong way, man. Like it's like the saying, man, if it ain't broken, why are you trying to fix it? Right? The spirit of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, that ain't broken, so continue to work through that, man. Continue to get through it, right? Use the scriptures to meditate in and get through the trials, man. Read on.
And thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
Right, so he wants to give you that expected end, man. That's what he want. He want to give you the expected end to get through it. But you doubting yourself, number one, then you doubting Yahweh Shah. So how you gonna get through anything? You might as well throw in the towel. But like we said earlier, man, 2023, man, we not throwing in the towel, man. This ain't the year for that.
God.
We done lost a lot of brothers to the truth, man. I mean, to the world, right? So we can't throw in the towel this year, man. If you feeling like throwing in the towel, man, remember I gotta sit in this fire. Like hashtag Jonathan, hashtag sit in the fire, man. Spirit out.
And I appreciate it. All right. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 23.
All right.
I'm gonna start at verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. Said the profession of our faith.
That's real.
Right? Without wavering. So not only do you got to have faith, but you can't be wavering. Because if you're wavering and you're doubting, guess what? You're gonna lose. You got to be strong in the Lord, man. Right? It says, for he is faithful that promise. God is faithful, so you got to be faithful. We got to match that same energy, right? It says, and let us consider one another to provoke, and that's why we need each other.
Hey, Baba,
that's why you can't do this by yourself.
Hey, can you start at 22? Start at 22. That hit hard.
I was thinking about it. That's the spirit. That's why I had pause to get it. It says, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Right? And that pure water is the word.
That's right.
Right? Salaki, I'm getting the car. I don't know why my phone be connected to my computer. Salaki. Right? It says, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith. And that goes back to Sirach chapter 2. When you come serve the Lord, you're already ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to prepare yourself. Just like you got to prepare before you go pray and come before the Lord. That's why we have to prepare, right? Going into the Passover. There's always preparation, right? That way you have that full assurance, right, of faith. And I'm gonna read. I'm gonna keep going on this too to make a point on that later on. It says, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. You wanted to break that down, Art?
Hey, but we know that water. That's Ephesians 5:26, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word you gotta be washed with. That means you gotta be changed, right?
Right.
So and the changing really is the renewing of the mind. That's the true changing.
And exactly, that's changing how you, like the brother was just saying. Your thought, the Lord said, my thoughts are not your thoughts.
Yeah.
The Lord not trying to destroy. The Lord not trying to destroy you and take you out.
Yeah.
If
Fact.
he wanted to do that, he'll just send a damn death angel to follow you around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We was talking about that last night, man. They had that cruel messenger damn living with you.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I mean? At the dinner table with you.
Yeah.
Right? He's the king of terrorists. So the Lord knows the thoughts that he has towards you. Right? And it's not of evil. Right? So you going through affliction, that's not the Lord trying to destroy you. Right? That's the Lord answering your prayers. You said you increase your faith.
Yeah.
Right? It says, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. That's key too. For he is faithful that promise. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. That's why it's good to have righteous brothers and sisters around you, because we need each other in this truth, man. It's not a situation where you just going to be a damn a one-man record. No, it don't work like that in the truth.
Nah.
Right? It says, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another. And that's what this is about. This is exhortation too, right? This is us, the brother using his platform to exhort Israel, because we all catching hell, man. We all going through it, man. Just because you see a brother teaching on the streets or a brother is good with the scriptures, don't think that brother not going through anything. Don't think that brother don't go off and make mistakes. You understand? Brothers out here acting like they in a new covenant already. I heard it's a brother that out there teach. Brother, somebody came up and asked him. He said he don't sin. I said, brother, well, we can't say that.
Yeah.
We can't start to do that. That wouldn't be right. You know what I'm saying? If you could get to a point where you know what I mean, right now, that you just don't sin no more, then what do we need? Yahushua, what do we got to endure for?
Yeah.
You already got it together.
Yeah.
This is something, and not only do we have to endure affliction, but we also have to endure the flesh and sin until the end. We have to fight, right? It's a battle. That's 2nd Ezra 7:57, right? This is the condition of the battle. You see what I'm saying? That we have to fight, right? Reading on, it says, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. As we see the day approaching, and as we're getting closer, these things have to be magnified, right? And taken to another level. You see what I'm saying? Now to that point I was going to make earlier, let me get Hebrews 11 and verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. You can't please the Lord, and it's all about pleasing the Lord. Everything we do is about pleasing the Lord. That's why we give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Everything we do is only because of the Most High, right? So if he's telling you, without this, you can't please me, guess what you got to get? Guess what you need? That's what you need.
Faith.
And how do you get that? Trials and tribulations, ups and downs, right? Fire. You know what I mean? That's what we need. It goes hand in hand. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is. And a lot of times, and I used to do this with myself, I would find myself down. I'm like, I have to check myself, like, because it's almost like you're saying you don't even believe in the Most High. I mean, you gotta keep it real. right? It says, he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Right? Let me get real quick. Let me get Psalms. And another element about this too, going on to, you know, me talking about going through what I went through, you know what I mean, with my wife and with my daughter coming into the truth. I remained strong. I kept going out and doing the work. I never wavered. Right? But guess what? After that, guess what? More things start to happen.
Just every
You know
time.
what I'm saying? Me and Andrew, we worked at the same job, and we used to wear our fringes to work. And the boss man, he came in the office one day, and we kind of had a conversation. Come to find out, one of the maintenance guys that close to the he did other business outside of that job for his family, so they knew each other. They had a relationship. He came and told, he's a brother. He came and told us, he like, yo, hey, this man watching videos, he can't stop watching. He addicted to it. The owner of the store, he was addicted to Israelite videos.
Oh, praise.
He couldn't stop watching it. So he kind of, you know what I mean? You know, we had a conversation, man, and me being in the truth, having that zeal, not really understanding, you know, being wise as a serpent, and you know what I mean, how to move in this thing. I get to cut the owner up. You know what I mean? I'm in the office and I'm going in. He asking questions. So this what y'all believe? I'm like, well, you know what I mean? So I'm going through the precepts, man, and I kind of got into it. You know what I mean? And it went on for like an hour. So as time went by, and Andrew ended up suffering from this by association.
Yeah, guilty by association.
Next thing you know, we are literally on the phone with my brother, who all praise to the Most High is in the truth now.
Oh,
right?
praise.
My brother is in the truth now. All praises to the Most High, man. So at the time he wasn't, but we're on the phone with my brother, and we are literally at the table reading. We got him on speakerphone because he's back in Texas, so we're talking to him on the phone, and we're reading. He going through some things, and we're reading Sirach chapter 2. Soon as we push the button, hang up the phone, Andrew walks away. I get a text message from the owner telling me I'm fired indefinitely. Don't even come back. Andrew walks out the room with his phone in his hand. We got the exact same text message. So now we ain't got no job. Just like that, we fired. You see what I'm saying?
Damn.
So now we like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, you know what I mean? Right after we just got through going over this with my brother. So now we got to exhort each other. Now we got to keep that same energy, because it's easy when it's not you and you talking to somebody else, telling them what they got to do, and you going through the precepts with them. Now when it's you, right? Then after that, over time goes by, a lot of people don't know this. If you watch our channel, I've mentioned this before on a couple of the videos, but when you watching a lot of those videos, most of those videos, I was homeless. Right? People don't even know that. I was literally homeless, right? Sleeping in my truck. You know what I mean? It was times I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I was down in the spirit. I ain't even feel like going, but I kept going, doing the work. A lot of those videos, you see me out there teaching the word of God, I was literally homeless. You understand?
It's heavy.
You know, so I had to endure that. I wasn't exempt. You know what I mean? Nobody exempt from these things. And we used to be out there. We would you know what I mean? At that time, it was a whole bunch of our people that was out there homeless. So when I ended up homeless, and I'm out there, I'm looking, I'm like, damn, I'm in the same boat as them. I'm out, you know, I'm encouraging them. You know what I mean? We used to come out there and, you know, do certain things, you know what I'm saying, with them before and after camp. And I was going through it. You know what I'm saying? And people didn't even know that, couldn't even imagine that I was homeless at the time. But I was. You know what I mean? And sometimes, man, you have to cry out to the Lord, man. You know what I mean? In the fire. That's why the Lord said, believe in me, right? Turn not away. Now it's time to draw close. That's when I really began to get closer to the Most High and really build a relationship. You build a relationship through affliction and through trials and tribulation. You start to earn the trust. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's carnal to, you know what I mean, saying that, you know, with the Most High. But just to have some perspective and understanding that if the God is proving me and I have to endure something, and that's pleasing to God to show faith. Our forefathers, Noah, Abraham, these men were proven by their faith, right? And they were spoken well of by the Most High because they endured it, right? Let me get this precept. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 88 and verse 9. Mine eye mourneth by reason of affliction. Lord, I have called daily upon thee. Are you calling daily upon the Lord? Or are you just sitting and eating the bread of your affliction? Right? Brothers coming to camp and they got an attitude. They ain't on fire like they were, looking like they don't want to be there. I couldn't be like that because I was homeless. Right? And every time I notice when I get to camp and the word get to coming out, I ain't even thinking about that.
Yeah, that's how I be.
That's what I love to be, man. I didn't even want camp to end. I didn't want to go back and deal with that. I wanted to be right there in that moment serving the Lord, doing the work of the Most High God, loving my people, man. Right? Lord, I have called daily upon thee. I have stretched out my hands unto thee. You see what I'm saying? Let me get this real quick in Psalm chapter 106 and 44. So also another element in your affliction, you got to learn how to cry out and call upon the name of the Lord. Literally. It's not just about going to precepts and you know what I mean? No, you got to cry out to the Most High. That's a part of you. You have to swallow your pride. You can't be prideful with the Most High. Go in your secret place and bawl out and cry out to the Most High, man. Right? Don't cry. Brothers be on the phone with me, which is cool. Not saying don't do that too. Right? We cry for one another. Right? That's love. But how much more to the Most High in your secret place? That's what our forefathers did in their affliction. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 44. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction because the Lord's mercy endured forever to the children of Israel. Right. There is mercy, especially if you believe in Yahweh, there is mercy for you. Take advantage of that thing. Right? It says, nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when what? When he heard their cry.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? When the Most High heard their cry, meaning what? They were crying out to the Most High, begging for mercy. It's okay to cry unto the Lord and beg for mercy. You see what I'm saying? But understanding also, that's why we say Lord willing. What does that mean when we say Lord willing? That means what? If it's not the Lord's will, then you got to be okay with the Lord leaving you there and going with it. You see what I'm saying? Can't pray and then the Lord don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't wearing. Now you take your fringes off. You see what I'm saying? You're not reading and praying. You still showing up to camp though. This happens. You still see brothers at camp. Bring it out. But they're not really in it. They're not really. That's why you got to check on. That's why the Lord said, "Be careful to know the state of thy flock." Call and check. We ought to call and check on one another and talk to each other. Right? Let me get that real quick in Malachi.
That's heavy. Hey, that's this heavy points you making out for real. Right? It's a lot of precepts coming to mind, especially in a song. I'm just going to that crying to the Most High, man. Well, David said, "I make my couch to swim." I make a lot of swim.
Hey, Jeremiah said, man, he had tears rolling down his face, man. Right? Jeremiah 9 in the first verse. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 2, and verse 16. I mean, Salakia 3. 3 and verse 16. Malachi 3 and 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one toward another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. See, the Lord is in the when two or three are gathered, the Lord is in the midst. You see, the Lord is listening. The Lord has angels everywhere, man. Right? You got angels that receive the prayers of the saints and present them for the Most High. Right? When you read the book of Tobit, right? It says, hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name. So these things are important to call and conversate and talk. And it happens a lot, brother. You know what I'm saying? The brother out the blue hit me up all the time, man, and just check on me. And likewise, I do the same. Sometimes the brother put the brother in my spirit on my heart, and I'll just hit the brother up to check on him. Hey, we do that, man. You know what I mean? And sometimes when the brother's going through it, that brother's gonna let you know. He gonna tell you, bro. But you might not have known that if you didn't reach out to that brother. Not all brothers is just gonna come out, you know what I mean, and tell you what they're going through. You see what I'm saying? And that gives you the opportunity to be a brother, right? And to love your brother. That's another proven process too. You see what I'm saying? But you can go ahead, King.
Let me get one in there. Let me get Psalm. Hey, go to Psalm 77 real quick, because it's a heavy psalm too, just what the brother talking about, man. Right? Because this is a part of the motivation, right? People, you should be wanting to go to camp. Now, just hearing a story like that, if you're going through something, you should just want to be going to camp, right? Because this word need to go out, number one.
No excuses.
It's for what excuse? What excuse they got? Brothers been homeless, brothers ain't have it, brothers been going through stuff, brothers ribs left. What excuse you make? And we even brought up the weather. We had the people in the beginning put the temperature, put wherever they at, put their temperature. Hey, it's 30 degrees some places. Right now, with Florida, we about 60. Ain't no excuses, man.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in Florida, we like 70 degrees right now. Ain't no excuses. But hey, there's 30 degrees. You might want to make it. There's no excuses, man. In season, out of season. Read that from the top, verse 1. Psalm 77 and 1.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 77 and verse 1. I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me.
Right, and that's what the brother said, man. We'll cry out. So like we'll cry out to one another, but you be forgetting to cry out to Yahweh. Right? That's a heavy statement. We'll cry out to, I'll call you in and express my pain and my hurt, but you forget to turn that pain and hurt to Yahweh so he can hear you. Because David said what? And he heard me. Read verse 2, what?
Verse 2. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My sword ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refuses to be comforted.
Right. And that's key, man. Very key. In the day of trouble, but not only in the day, because don't get it twisted. You can't only seek the Lord in the day of trouble. But in the day of trouble, you gotta be seeking the Lord. Right? Israelites kind of flip it. Like when everything going good, we kind of like chilling and we won't be wanting to say nothing. But when it's going, we'll be rejoicing in the prayer. I would rather say, right? But when stuff go bad, it's like we don't want to pray no more.
Yep.
And we should be praying at both times, when it's good or bad, because Yahweh is always there, especially in the midst of 2 or 3. Right? Go ahead, Ak.
Real quick, and not only for yourself too, but brothers cry out for other brothers when they're going through it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, sometimes, man, you gotta just get away from everybody. Just go in your car or closet or wherever you gotta go, man, and just cry out to the Lord, man. And I got a quick precept real quick. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 6. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears, man.
That's heavy. That's heavy, man.
That's heavy right there, man. This is the spirit our forefathers was in, man. These men with that's no pride nowhere in there, man. Right? Hey, Job say this a righteous man say he repented in dust and ashes. How many of us literally get ashes and put on themselves?
Yeah.
Right? You got to humble yourself before the Lord if you really want to get out of a situation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep going on that psalm real quick. Let me find this precept in Sirach I'm looking for.
Okay.
The prayer. Where's that in Sirach? The prayers of the humble pierce the cloud. Man, where's that at? I know it's like in the 30s. I might have to Google. I might have to cheat. Oh no, I found it. Sirach 35. Drop that out. Go to Sirach 35 and 16. Watch this. 35. This is one of my favorite scriptures right here. Sirach 35 and 16.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 35 and verse 16. He that serveth the Lord shall be accepted with favor, and his prayer shall reach into the clouds.
So if you serving Yahweh, your prayers are gonna reach the cloud, right? Especially if you crying out to him day and night, asking the Most High to change your situation. If you serving him while you doing that, It said your prayers will reach the cloud. Read on up.
The prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds, until it come nigh, he will not be comforted.
And that's heavy too. That means you won't stop praying. You won't stop until Yahweh shall give you exactly what you're asking for. So you're going to continue to strive in prayer. And that's important, man. Striving in prayer. Continue to pray. We got to ask you, how much are you praying, man? Some of the scriptures say they pray 3 times a day, right? Hey, some more. So you got to ask yourself, how many times are you praying? I know somebody say, man, I set an alarm on my phone to make sure I pray multiple times. And then that's a mighty task to do, right? Even if it's just a thought of Yahweh, man, you got to make sure you acknowledging Yahweh. So he take care, even though he gonna take care of you, you got to give him that praise. So when you do go through something, he always hearing you. Man. That's the spirit we got to be in these last days, right? Because the times is only gonna get worse. It ain't getting better. Babylon ain't just gonna magically go back to when we was kids and it seemed all willy-nilly. Nah, man, it's getting worse. So the prayer gotta increase. Read on that.
Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted, and will not depart till the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment.
Read.
For the Lord will not be slack, neither will the mighty be patient towards them, till he has smitten and sundered the loins of the unmerciful, and repaid vengeance to the heathen.
Right, and that's a whole nother topic, but that's heavy too, because now you're praying for the destruction of the heathen. And the Most High said he's gonna carry that out as well, right? He's gonna carry that out as well, the destruction of the heathen. But the key point I want is that, man, not continuing in that prayer until it pierces the clouds, man.
That's right.
Right? Make your bed to swim with tears if you need to, as the scriptures say. Hey, even David said in Psalms, I think it's Psalms 119 and 137, I believe. Hey, he was crying for those that was not keeping the law. Sure. Right? His tears ran down his face for those that did not keep the law. Right? Because understanding that's showing that's the destruction of our people if we're not keeping these laws and commandments, man. Right? So this is an important lesson, man. I hope brothers and sisters is really hearkening to what the scriptures is really saying and what brothers is bringing out. You got something, Haran? Before we close it, we're gonna close it out in a minute.
I got a couple more.
You say what that?
I got a couple more.
A couple more out?
Okay,
bring it out.
Let me get this. The brother can get Galatians 6 and 9 for me.
Yep. All right. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Right. Remember, don't get weary in well-doing. If you in this truth and you believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you keeping the commandments to the best of your ability, you repenting whenever you fall short, don't be weary. You know what I'm saying? In well-doing. Because in due season, guess what? The Lord is he gonna do his part. We got to do our part. You understand? And we have examples of these things. We all know Paul's journey and what he went through, his transformation, right? From persecuting the saints to catching hell, man. Paul went through it, man. Paul was thrown in prison, man. Shipwrecked, man. You know what I mean? Getting beat, man. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, being beheaded. Okay? And some of us, we care too much. Let me say it again. You care too goddamn much about the wrong thing. You just care too much. You're not fully invested on getting out of here and being with the Lord. You're not fully invested on saying the righteous rule. You're not meditating on our kingdom. You still desire, the reason these things affect you in the way that it does, you still desire this place. You still want to kind of, you know what I mean, enjoy this place. And your mind is not where our forefathers' mind was. You understand? Now, I mean, there's a line you got to draw. We have to be here. and we want to make sure we have the things that are necessary so we can get by. But at the same time, you some of our people, you're surfeiting, you're indulging too much. You see what I'm saying? So when things go wrong, then guess what? All your faith is gone. Right? So give me Acts 20:24 real quick. I'm gonna get two more. Acts 20:24.
Chapter 20 and verse 24. But none of these things move me.
See that? Paul said, we're not going through what Paul went through. These are light afflictions that will be magnified. It's going to get worse. Especially you men that go out into the highways and the byways. That's on the forefront. Right? If you can't handle these light afflictions, man, you in the wrong business.
Yeah.
And this is a business. This is the Lord's business.
That's right.
Right? We're supposed to be soldiers for the Lord. Hey, a soldiers fight unto death. You see what I'm saying? No soldier, every soldier that goes to war, he has accepted the idea that he may not make it back. When you go to war, you understand that. So when you go to war for the Lord, it's the same thing, man. Some of you care too much. Paul said, none of these things move me. You got to get in the spirit of, no matter what Satan brings my way, no matter what trial, guess what? It's not going to move me. I'm going to be steadfast. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Read on.
But none of these things move me. Neither count I my life dear unto myself.
That's heavy. Some of you love your life in captivity too damn much.
Yeah.
You've accepted this
Cut right there.
captivity. Yeah. You love America still. It's still kind of in you. You see what I'm saying? You still looking forward to these worldly things. Paul said, I count not my life dear unto me, man. He didn't really care too much about my life. You know why? He believed in the resurrection. He went through hell about the resurrection of Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? We count our life too dear. Not saying not to love yourself, or not saying not to, you know what I mean? But you got to have balance. When it comes to serving the Lord and the things that come with it, you can't love anything more than that. That's the point. That's what he's saying. So when he was going through that affliction, Paul had to endure all those things. And he's going to tell you why he felt this way. He counted not his life dear unto him. Read on.
So that I might finish my course with joy.
So that what?
So that I might finish my course with joy.
So that he may finish his course with joy. That's one of the, when you read in the curses, a lot of times we read over this, and I got to start bringing this out too when we're dealing with the sheep. Deuteronomy 28, we go to 48, but 47 says, because we serve not the Lord with joyful. It wasn't because we didn't keep the Sabbath day, or because we were worshiping idols. It wasn't just because of that. It was also because you don't serve the Lord with joyfulness and gladness. You don't come to count happy and ready. You know what I'm saying? You don't keep the new moon with a joyful heart. A lot of times it's a burden on people.
Yeah.
Dang, the new moon. Dang. You know what I'm saying?
Dang. Yeah.
Dang.
Bring that out, because the new moon, we got a new moon this evening. Bring that out.
Yeah.
Keep the new moon, man.
With joyfulness and with gladness of heart, because we serve not the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart. Now we got to serve our enemies and one of all things. You see what I'm saying? So Paul said, so that I might finish my course with joyfulness, right? That's the key too. You want to serve the Lord. You want to be happy to serve the Lord is worthy to be praised, man.
Yeah.
Is it more on that? I think that's it on that.
No, it is. In the ministry which I have received of the Lord of Yahushua Mashiach to testify the gospel of the grace of God.
See that? And you got to do that with joyfulness and gladness too. So, and the reason he's saying that because he knows what comes with teaching the gospel of the Lord, right? Persecution, affliction. So you can't love your life too much and be in this truth, right? One more. Give me 2 Timothy 4:7. This is where we want to. This is what we're striving for. I want to be able to say this. I can't say it now. Okay.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, and verse 7. I have fought a good fight.
I have what?
I have fought a good fight.
Hey, brothers and sisters, we gotta fight. This is a good fight. You see what I'm saying? This is a beautiful and a great position to be in. All right, in these last days. The Lord said, who will rise up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've all raised our hand and said, we'll do it. So guess what?
That's right.
Guess what? You gotta endure everything that comes with it. If you want to
right.
stand up, imagine standing up for the Most High in a world that hates him and his laws. Go ahead.
I have finished my course. I have kept the faith.
Oh, look. You got to keep the faith, right? And in order to do that, you have to go through affliction, trials, and tribulations. We want to finish our course. All the way back to the beginning when I first came on here, you got brothers falling out. They're not finishing their course. They're not keeping the faith. You see what I'm saying? So every day we wake up in this truth, whether we up or down, whether we, you know what I mean? You have good days, you have bad days. You have ups and downs in the truth. You see what I'm saying? But you're still in it. And I always tell brothers and sisters, don't give up. Okay?
Right.
Just stay in the truth. Keep enduring, man. The Lord we're going to be saved by grace. You're not going to be saved because you keep the Sabbath day. You're not going to be saved because you go to camp. It's nothing we can do. Right. You're not going to be saved because you're keeping the Passover. You had the mightiest Passover. You're going to be saved by grace. Mm-hmm. And that don't mean not to do those things. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be saved by grace. So it's only the grace of the Lord that we still in this. It's the grace of the Lord that we on this live. It's the grace of the Lord that the people that's tuning in, why they could be watching something else. But this is where their mind is at. You see what I'm saying? So, all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. The water for you brothers having me on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure, man. I really enjoyed this, man.
Let's get one more and we're gonna end it out. You got one? You got one, Haran?
Nah, we can go. What you want?
Okay,
what you got?
Let's get this last one. Give me 2 Chronicles 15:7, man. On that brother's point. All right, 2 Chronicles 15:7.
This the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 15 and verse 7. Be ye strong, therefore, and let not your hands be weak. Be ye strong, therefore.
It says, and let not your hands be weak. Right? You might got a delay. I might be behind a little bit, right? But it says, let your hands not be weak, right? So in totality of all of this, what we talked about, that's the end goal, man. Stand strong and not your hands be weak. Why not? Why not?
It says, for your work shall be rewarded.
For your work, your faith, right? The trial of your faith, it shall be rewarded. But you got to endure all things for righteousness' sake, for the kingdom's sake, man. That's the end. That's the true motivation.
That's right.
That is the motivation. Now go ahead,
Salaki, my bad. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 12. Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you?
Yeah.
You cut. Hey, it's nothing even to say on that, man. Hey, it's nothing. Hey, we're gonna end it right there. Right? What you gonna? You done lost patience, man. You done lost the motivation of this truth, man. What are you gonna do when the Lord visits you, man? So Thawada, all praises, man, for the brother Jonathan joining us today, man, on the pre-game, man. Get brothers and sisters ready to start the Shabbat day, right? For brothers to get ready to go to camp. We got to do this work by any means necessary, man. Yahweh said the laborers are few, hey, but it's many to gather. It's a lot of fish out there in that sea, but the laborers are few, man. So brothers, man, you got to get off your behind. Got to get off your behind. Or even if you got to sit and do it in front of the computer, however you going to do it, man. But we got to push this word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai or the Most High in Christ, man. So the water to the brother Jonathan. W for Orlando. Let me plug y'all channel real quick. I'm gonna plug y'all real quick, man. Everybody on here probably subscribe to y'all brothers, man. I'm gonna plug y'all real quick, man. If you not, man, make sure you go. I don't went back to the beginning when y'all can see.
God, man.
When y'all can see.
God.
Slow. Can y'all see it?
And quick point, real quick.
Yeah,
when I was talking about I was homeless.
I can see it now, right?
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say real quick when I was talking about I was homeless, literally right after that, that's when the Lord started to increase the count.
What? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
God.
I'll praise.
Now look, now the brothers went from you and Andrew and these on. Look, hey, they got can't even no cameraman out there. They got the camera set up and it's just recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Andrew, right? I had the trophy right here, the one, right? And you go up to the top, go up to the top. You go up to the top, man, and the Most High has increased the brotherhood, man. Hey, the Most High has increased the brotherhood, man. Now it's a plethora of brothers out there, man, doing the work in Orlando, man, right? So that's what it's about. So if you're in the Orlando area, man, hit the brothers up, man. Because whether you do it SOT or WFI, man, the work need to be done. Point blank, period. And we all are the same camp, really. This is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai camp in general, man. It's just different members of this work, man. Right? So with that, man, I hope y'all have a blessed Shabbat. I'm Brother Yaikwa. We had our guest speaker, Brother Jonathan, brought the fireman. We had Soldier Aharon. Ashar Shabbat to the people in the chat. Ashar Kadash Rock. Happy New Moon this evening coming up for us. Is y'all New Moon tonight too?
We started last night.
Last night. So happy New Moon to y'all brothers, man. Ashar Shabbat. Ashar Kadash Rock to the brothers of WFI. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and y'all have just tuned in to another episode of the pregame. Stay tuned for episode 3. Shalom.
Shalom.
Oh, praise God.